Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to NCB's 2021 e-commerce summit. I'm so happy that you guys are joining us this morning. Make sure that you grab your coffee, your tea, whatever it is that gets you going first thing in the morning, because today we are going to be live and plugged into all things online, e-commerce, earning that money, getting that bag, using your business online. So welcome, guys. Thanks so much for joining. You definitely want to stick with us for the next couple of hours. We have some amazing experts joining us today. We're going to be covering all the things from digital marketing to e-commerce in a box to cybersecurity. Got to keep that business safe while it's online, and everything that you'll need to know to not only launch your business online, but to also do well while you're at it. You also want to stick around for the potential to get up and access to free training that is going to be a giveaway that we're going to be giving later on in the day. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. We're going to now be introducing our NCB first expert, Mrs. Danielle Cameron Duncan. And Danielle is the head of Payments and Digital Channels Division. With her fingers always on the pulse of global innovation, Danielle leads NCB's Payments and Digital Channels Division. She's responsible for establishing and implementing value-added strategies which deliver world-class payment solutions and ensures delightful sales and service delivery across the organization's digital platforms. By leading the transformation of the payments landscape, delivering flexible and convenient digital innovations, Danielle aims to continue expanding the market reach and profitability of the division. But more importantly, she aims to transform the internal and external customer experience with the use of intuitive, customer-centric, and cutting-edge payment technologies. In addition to payments, Danielle's portfolio encompasses NCB's suite of digital channels, including mobile applications, online banking, ABMs and kiosks, IVR, which is telebanking, and customer care. To support the organization's goal of becoming digital to the core, Danielle is focused on leading the charge to make NCB's digital channels our customers' first choice for managing their financial goals by consistently delivering personalized, secure, and reliable infrastructure. Danielle's experience includes her role as investment banking associate at Goldman Sachs & Company, vice president in General Electric's corporate audit staff, and various entrepreneurial endeavors. She holds an MBA from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, as well as a bachelor's degree in finance with a minor in psychology from Pennsylvania State University. Welcome, Danielle. Oh my gosh, you do so much things.
It's great to say. Next time we have to go edit that down,
yes,
because that is as long as the speech.
Thank you for joining us, Danielle.
Thanks, Stacey, and good morning to everybody. Thank you for joining us. I want to just start quickly with a very fun fact, because we are at the NCB e-commerce webinar. On August 11th, 1994, Phil Brandenburger used a credit card to buy a CD by the band Sting through a website called NetMarket for $12.48. That was in 1994. This was the first ever recorded e-commerce transaction. Since then, e-commerce has been the fastest growing channel for over the last 10 years. With the COVID crisis, and the COVID crisis, I would say, has dramatically accelerated that shift. In just under 3 decades since that first transaction, researchers project global e-commerce sales to top $4.2 trillion US, and there are no signs of any slowing growth. So I would say, what a future we have ahead of us in e-commerce, right? I mean, very timely seminar. I believe that the timing of this webinar, along with the announcements by Amazon that Jamaican entrepreneurs and businesses can now, using Jamaican credentials, become official sellers on their global retail platform, is a clear example of stars aligning. If we add to that eBay recently updated its business policy to now allow Jamaican sellers to receive payments directly to their local bank accounts, I would say we are seeing a new dawn in the global business and e-commerce for Jamaicans. We are a far cry from just a year ago when our focus was on pivoting business to survive in the digital age. Now we are ensuring that those businesses are thriving. not only locally, but internationally by opening up the global opportunities that exist via the World Wide Web. Just to say again, good morning again, everybody. My name is Danielle Cameron Duncan, and today it is my pleasure to welcome you to another staging of the NCB eCommerce Summit. This is a time in which we are blessed to exist, a time where technology and digitization create outsized opportunity and where entrepreneurs' wildest dreams are becoming reality. NCB has helped many of our customers fulfill their dreams. Customers like Corella Bloomfield. If you were on earlier, you would have seen her in the video. If you don't know her, you really should. Her story, of her journey and growth is really exemplary. Corella has grown with us over the years, from using our NCB mobile pods to conduct her business on the sidewalks of Halfway Tree until she was able to purchase a vehicle, and then she was selling from her trunk. And to today, where Corella sells from her store in Park Plaza, as well as through her website, which was built on our easy, secure NCB website template powered by Figaro. At National Commercial Bank, it has always been our mandate to play a role in the development of Jamaica, empowering people, unlocking dreams, and building communities. At NCB, we have one of the widest set of solutions covering all merchant segments, sole traders, MSMEs, from the cottage industry players to large corporates and governments. In fact, I am proud to share that just last month, Global Finance magazine recognized NCB for e-commerce in a box solution with a 2021 Outstanding Innovation in Payments Award. I'd like to congratulate the team and obviously everybody that has worked with us on that. Very proud of that. Our solutions include a seamless integration with DHL for logistics management, where the goods are picked up at the merchant locations and delivered to end consumer globally. Automated inventory management to assist business owners to know when they need to stock up. Search engine optimization to help drive leads to your website and boost your Google rankings. Payment buttons, which can be shared via WhatsApp, Instagram, direct messaging, Facebook Messenger. This empowers a business to accept payments online with or without a website. Today, you will hear from a dynamic set of presenters about how to get your business to the screens and fingertips of a global consumer base with cost-efficient, easy-to-use, and secure technology, built to ensure your e-commerce experience is not only enhanced, but targeted towards your business goals. Our speakers include long-standing partners and customers who have worked alongside NCB in multiple capacities. They are experts in their respective fields, and I am sure they are as excited to share their knowledge with you to help transform your business as you are going to be to hear from them. So as you join us today, please do actively participate in the discussions as we work to help you maximize your business potential by getting you online, by growing online, so that you and your customers never miss a sale. It was important that I said that. With that, I hand back to Stacy, so we can get going with the agenda. Welcome again, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danielle. If you are just joining us, we just heard from NCB's Head of Payments and Digital Channels, Danielle Cameron Duncan, who has made us all so much more eager to hear from the upcoming presenters. Because the truth is, guys, this is your time. This is our time. I'm an entrepreneur myself, right? This is our time. Never before have we had such a wonderful opportunity to create amazing space for ourselves and for our businesses and opportunities for the customers that we serve through the use of the internet. Lots of laws and things are changing, as you heard from Daniel about Amazon and eBay lifting some of their restrictions. So this is an amazing time for us to buy and sell our goods and services via the internet, which is exactly what e-commerce is in its simplest sense. Now, I won't hold up too much talking right now. I'm going to move us right next into our next expert, Mr. Christopher Burns. And we want to talk with Christopher about how we're going to optimize your business potential online with projections for the growth of revenues from e-commerce set to exceed $25 trillion US. Make sure you write down that number. 25 trillion with a T US dollars by 2027. how can you tap into e-commerce so that your business is prepared for the opportunities that are lying ahead? I'm certainly very curious about how I'm going to tap into that trillion dollar number that was shared there. Our first presenter, Christopher Burns, who is CEO of First Atlantic Commerce, will be talking us through our first presentation, and he will highlight for us how you can maximize your business growth potential using e-commerce. So Chris, welcome. How are you doing? Oh, I can't hear you, Chris. Are you still muted?
Hi, good morning, everybody. How are you?
There you go.
Very pleased to be here.
We can hear you now.
Excellent. Good. Well, thank you very much for the kind introduction. Pleasure to be here.
Okay. So we're just getting ready to queue up your presentation, Chris.
Okay, excellent. Great. Well, I'll just kick off from here then. So I'm going to go over a few items today, just to give a little context of who First Atlantic Commerce is, so you can understand the angle that we're coming from as a business, and then basically how to leverage e-commerce as a digital solution to grow your business, the benefits of being an e-commerce solution, and just a little bit of an overview in terms of the solutions that FAC has to offer as well. So if I could have the next slide, please. So FAC, if you're not familiar with us, is an e-commerce payment gateway. We have been in the e-commerce payment space for nearly a couple of decades now, and we were one of the first original e-commerce payment gateways to actually work within the Caribbean. So we are now, fast forward a number of years, we're by far the most connected payment gateway within the Caribbean and Central America. We have thousands of customers on our platform, and our mission as a business is ultimately to empower and grow the e-commerce industry within our region. So, we are Bermuda-based, technically, I know, not the Caribbean, but we are an island-based nation that understands what it is to try and organize and get access to all the different types of solutions that we need to be able to grow e-commerce in general within that. So, our job as an organization is to ensure that as you grow your online and digital footprint, that you are able to take payments via your website, via your payment buttons, through all the complicated infrastructure that we have built on the back end securely to secure those payments ultimately from your website or payment buttons or whatever the method might be to your bank account with NCB. So we are fully certified PCI DSS level 1 certified as a gateway. We have been since 2005. It's basically the highest level of accreditation you can get from a payment gateway perspective to be able to secure your money in an online transaction. Have the next slide, please. So the role of the payment gateway, and we'll go into a visualization of this shortly as well, is really to provide that connectivity between your website, your payment button, your shopping cart, whatever method you are using to sell your goods and services online. So we are effectively the, technical plumbing, if you will, between the front-end website, the customer-facing website or payment button, and all the complicated infrastructure that is the bank and the processor and the card associations, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and all the networks. We give access to all of that through our infrastructure. It's very complicated on the back end, but we provide very simple methods on the front end for you to be able to integrate your website or shopping cart or payment facility into our payment gateway. And then our job is to work with our customers to provide all the technical support that might be required to complete that integration and then support our customers going forward. Have the next slide, please. So this is really a visual representation of how that transaction flow is going to work. And I'm a visual person, and sometimes it's much easier to just show this on how you see it in the transaction flow. So if you take your website or that you built yourself, or your shopping cart, or a product like Figaro, for example, we have all those companies will have a back end integration into the front end of our payment gateway. and our gateway is housed here in Bermuda, and then we connect into NCB and their processor, which basically the processor's job is to provide the keys and the access to the credit card networks. So Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover, whatever that might be. And then once the person is pressing Pay Now, that will interface with First Atlantic's gateway. We will send all that data encrypted to the processor, to Visa, MasterCard, or Amex, whichever card is being used. And then that will send, those networks will send that information to the bank that issued that credit card, and see if the funds are available. If they are, it will capture them, and it will send all that response data back through the network, through our gateway, and we'll present it back to the website or the payment button facility, whichever that might be, to say approved or declined based on the availability of funds. And the amazing thing about this network is it is spread over thousands and thousands of miles, depending on where the bank is, where the gateway is, where the credit card is issued from, and the response is in milliseconds. So the infrastructure is very fast and also incredibly secure, which will ultimately take that transaction from your online store through this network and ultimately deposit your funds to your account at NCB. And it's one of these infrastructures that unless you are in the business, you don't really understand, but it's our job to make that fast, secure, and simple for you and your websites and the different partners that we work with to ensure that the payment functionality is critical. So if you can have the best website in the world or the best shopping cart in the world, but if you can't secure good payment processing off the back end of it, there's no way for you to grow your business and accept your funds. And that's the facility that we provide. Next slide, please. So this is just examples of some of the customers that we work with. They range massively. So if you're in Jamaica and you're paying your Digicel bill or your Flow bill, or you're buying from PriceSmart online, or one of thousands of customers that we have on our platform, we're powering all the payments aspect of it. So we don't provide the front end website, we don't provide the shopping cart, we provide the mission critical payment acceptance functionality for all our partners' websites or all the partners that we work with that provide those types of functionality. And the client size ranges. We have merchants, sole traders that are selling things out of their basements, right up to sort of multi-billion-dollar NASDAQ listed companies right across the region, and we're operating in about 30 plus countries right now. So if I had the next slide, please. So coming on to the e-commerce is a digital solution, and we have been talking about this for quite some time, many years within Jamaica and the Caribbean in general, the importance of putting a digital strategy in place and figuring out, how do you touch your customers? What is your customers' experience with you as a business from a digital perspective? And the Caribbean has certainly been moving towards that. And that has just been completely amplified by what we have gone through over the last sort of 18 months within COVID. So we had a scenario where businesses were starting to adapt, starting to think about their digital transformation, digital solutions, and then suddenly shut down, lockdown, everybody in their houses, nobody able to move. And we have this, cash-based culture within our region, what we call this sort of stand in line type culture, where people will go to the bank and stand in line and pay their cash in, and it's a bit of a day out and part of the daily routine, where there have been solutions that have existed for a long time that you didn't have to do that, and suddenly we were forced as a region to rethink all of that in a very, very short period of time. So how do we continue to operate as a business, sell our goods and services, and receive payments for those goods and services in a contactless, shut-up environment? And so, there were a number of businesses that were somewhat prepared for that within the region, that we've been working with for a long time, that were able to move their customer base to buy and sell and purchase online. But there are a lot of businesses that hadn't. And this is where we talk about this sort of adapt or die. we're moving into a world now that, it is, mandatory to be able to purchase something in a card not present environment, in a remote type environment based upon, the restrictions that were forced upon us during the COVID pandemic. But we're also moving on in terms of generations, whereby people demand to be able to find a website, be able to purchase the goods and services via the website. And if you can't, they will simply move on. You might have a website that is informational, but if doesn't have a payment component to it, people might move on. It's like, expecting Wi-Fi when you're going to hotels or airplanes or airports now. It's just a standard requirement within that. And if you as a business don't have a digital footprint and the ability to be able to take payments for the goods and services that you have, you are at a severe disadvantage to your customers, and you will lose your customer base as people migrate directly to all the different types of businesses that do have a digital footprint, do have a digital strategy, are making it very easy to interact with that business to be able to buy their goods and services. So, from that perspective, if you're not moving in that direction, you're in big trouble. And we talk about building for mobile, and a lot of people still haven't done that as well. They might have built a website, doesn't render properly for mobile devices. In the Caribbean, we have more phones than people. And you have access to be able to reach those individuals and craft your message and approach to people via their phones or by their tablets. And if people are expecting that. If they can't have that touch point with you from a digital perspective and be able to purchase from you online, then they are simply going to move on to another product or service. So the mobile component of it is incredibly important, and we can't stress that enough. And we talk about this sort of planning for zombie apocalypse. Now, this was really built up out of a conversation that I had with a senior risk manager that had worked for a very large bank. And when they would do their sort of risk assessments, they would have a whole list of scenarios that they would try and plan for, and what would they do. And he told me that one of those list items was plan for a zombie apocalypse, which seemed absolutely absurd to him. Never going to happen. Ridiculous scenario. Why would we even waste our time on that? But look at what happened to us with COVID. Nobody, once in 100-year scenario, nobody was really planned or geared up for that. So as a business, when looking at what you're doing from a digital solution perspective, our advice is to plan for all the different scenarios. If you're a brick and mortar business and didn't have any digital solution before sort of COVID hit, going into that, there was a lot of impact on your business, a lot of revenue lost, and some businesses just simply didn't survive that. So, we say plan, absolutely for the worst now, and our notion of what the worst is has changed dramatically over the last 18 months. So definitely prepare. Next slide, please. So I can see we're running out of time here pretty quickly, but these are some of the advantages of having an e-commerce solution. And, more than happy to talk through these at length with anybody at any point. If you want to contact First Atlantic Commerce, we have obviously a lot of breadth of experience within this. But there are, there's a lot of misconception within the market in terms of what is, available to you as a business to start up an e-commerce solution. What are the costs around it? What are the benefits around it? In many aspects, it is much cheaper and easier to run an online business. You don't have the standard costs that you would have with a brick and mortar business in terms of rent and utilities, and the physical staff, and to be able to outsource, the people that help run your business. So it can be, much more cost effective to run your business online. But also the scope in terms of what you're doing as a business. You're not only selling to the people that are just happen to be in your neighborhood or are traveling to your physical presence. You have the ability to literally sell to the world, and not just geographically, but then your business can be open, 24/7, 365 days a year. So you have this ability to create this passive income and generate income when you're not actually physically there to man your business. And that's a really important aspect of e-commerce. And just for the Caribbean as a whole, in terms of, don't just look at your domestic market, look at the global market. What is the demand for what you have and what you're selling, and how can you promote that to the world? The Caribbean has a very large diaspora and demand for local goods. And then also people that have tasted those goods and want to be able to order them internationally as well. So, this e-commerce gives you a way to really do that very well, very effectively from a serious cost reduction perspective. Okay, so I'm going to cut through here. We're running out of time a little bit more here. Next slide, please. So, and I'm not going to go through these in tremendous detail right now, given the time constraints, but First Atlantic Commerce provides you all the different tools that you would need to accept transactions online. So if you are building your own website, we have all the different tools in terms of tokenization, recurring payments, anti-fraud platforms. You can either integrate directly to our API or our hosted payment page, or if you're building web services yourself or creating website templates or payment buttons, we provide all the hooks into the transaction ecosystem to allow you to create that business. So all the major platforms within the Caribbean that are providing website services or web building services, they're running on FAC's infrastructure to provide the payment aspect of that. And so you can either use one of our partners that have made it incredibly easy, like Figaro, to get up and running online and create your web store or drop in the payment buttons, or you can come into us directly. If you've built your own website and you have some very specific needs, you can integrate to us directly to do that. Next slide, please. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So this is just an example. I mentioned you can either come into us directly, or you can work with one of our partners that we have plugins to. So we have, over the years, built in a number of different plugins for most of the major shopping carts in the world, like WooCommerce, Magento, 3D Cart, Shopify. They all have pre-existing plugins into the FAC payment infrastructure. Figaro, of course, is one of our long-standing partners. And I'm also here to announce today that we now have a plugin for Wix. So Wix is one of the biggest website building platforms in the world. We now have a live plugin for Wix, which hasn't existed before within our region, and we're now able to support that as well. So I'm really proud of the work the team has done to promote that side of it as well. So like I said, you can come into us directly, you can come into us via one of our partners, but always have that knowledge and safety to know that our infrastructure is powering the payments aspect of it. Next slide, please. So I'm not going to go into the fraud side in too much detail. I know we've got a cybersecurity panel as part of that today, but it is something that you really need to consider when you're going online. Just as you would a physical store, you have multiple ways to protect your physical store in terms of locks and security cameras and security badges and security guards, etc. You need to consider that when you're going online too. And built into the FAC payment infrastructure, we support a number of different ways to protect yourself from online fraud. From 3D Secure, shortly we'll be launching the new version of 3DS 2.2, which is a much improved version of the 3D Secure verified by Visa, MasterCard Secure Code product. And we also have an integration and a partnership with the largest, one of the largest and most sophisticated anti-fraud platforms, which is a company called Count, that's built into our platform too. So you can feel secure about that as well. And then last slide, the message today is really don't be left behind. If you're not going to innovate into the digital space right now, your company is going to be in trouble. These are just some examples of companies that thought that their model was secure, strong, thought they had a good chunk of the market, could never go bad, and they failed to adapt to the way that the market is going. And everything, even e-commerce, is evolving drastically right now. Currency is evolving drastically right now, from stable coins to digital currencies issued by central banks through to cryptocurrencies. All of that should form part of your thinking in terms of what you're doing with your digital strategy. So thank you very much for your time. Good luck with your ventures, and please don't hesitate to reach out.
All right, thank you so much, Chris, for this very informative presentation. If you just joined us, you missed out on a very insightful discussion from Christopher Burns, who is CEO of First Atlantic Commerce. We will now be taking questions from you, our viewers. So please go ahead and share any questions that you may have in the chat so that I can collect them from the production team and feed them over to Chris. In the interim, I do have a couple of questions that came in already, so I'm going to go over and shoot these over to you, Chris. First one, does First Atlantic Commerce provide developer services?
So thanks. So we don't actually provide developer services ourselves. So we support the developers that are integrating into our platform. We have a stable of developers that we recommend. And we have partners in different countries, like Jamaica, Remote Rocket would be one of them, for example. If the merchant doesn't have a developer that they already know, we can certainly recommend one, or we can recommend one of the platforms that we're pre-integrated to, like the shopping carts or Figaro, for example. But we don't do the development work on behalf of our customers. So there is certainly a recommendation on our side that you use a developer that has e-commerce payments experience. Not your friend that dabbles around the computers, that says they can do something for you. That can end up costing you a lot of extra time and money. So definitely do your research and find the right people to help you with that. And we can recommend people for sure.
Okay, no, thank you very much for that, Christopher. I actually work with a company, insurance company here in Jamaica, British Caribbean Insurance, that we started off with you guys doing our e-commerce payment gateway back in 2014, I think it was. And the team at First Atlantic was just exceptional to work with. Now, in 2014, it took us actually a few months to get ourselves going. Can the integration process be completed in less time, maybe a week instead of several months?
It can. It certainly can be completed faster than several months. We definitely have people that have done it within a few days, and but it really requires using the right resource. So if somebody has integrated to our platform before, and they are fully dedicated to doing the development work into the platform, then yes, certainly it could be completed within a week. But what you find is that a lot of businesses, they are doing this in conjunction with multiple other projects. So if you can focus solely on doing this, you can certainly get it done within a reasonable time. Or the other option is to, again, work with one of the plugins that we have to all the different platforms, which is pre-integrated. So at that point, you don't have to do any integration work. It's already done for you. It's simply a question of inputting your merchant credentials.
Okay, awesome. We do have a couple more questions for you here, Chris. The first one is, can you speak about the Shopify plugin a little bit more? Because you did have Shopify up as one of your partners that you currently work with.
Yeah, sure. So we have worked with development companies around the Caribbean and Central America to create plugins for some of the most used shopping cart and website building companies around the world. Shopify was one of them that was highly sought after for the region, and there wasn't a plugin for it within the Caribbean. So we worked with a development company in Trinidad, actually called WebGold, who created a plugin for Shopify for the FAC gateway. So it's a very simple process. You can go to the WebGold website, which I think is just webgold.co, and you can purchase the plugin for Shopify. And then it's just simply a question of setting up the credentials within the plugin, which WebGold will help with, and then we will run some tests just to make sure that the transactions are flowing properly, and then you can be up and running. So I think it's a yearly fee for the plugin, and then just the gateway fees.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering that, Chris. Could you say a bit more about what changes are involved with the 3DF 2.2?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So, 3DS. So 3DS has been around for 12, 13 years, and it hasn't changed at all during that time. And so basically what 3D Secure is, or it's also known as Verified by Visa or MasterCard Secure Code, and it is basically a way of helping to validate that the person who is doing the transaction is actually the owner of that card. And it does it by asking for a password that card is registered for. But not all cards are enrolled in 3D Secure. So if you're a merchant that has it enabled on your website and the card's not enrolled, it will just go through as a normal transaction. If the card is enrolled and you as a merchant enrolled in the program, you will throw up a separate window and ask you for your password or passphrase that's associated with that card. So trying to just, like I say, validate that that person is the owner of that card and is allowed to do that transaction. So over the last couple of years, an organization called EMVCo has been working with Visa, MasterCard, and Amex to create a better version of 3D Secure, as commonly known as EMV 3DS or 3DS 2.0. And that is a complete rework of the system from a technology perspective, from a customer experience perspective. So as we go in, to the end of this year and into next year, there is a requirement basically for everybody to upgrade to 2.0. So in order to do that, you need to work with a gateway like ourselves that has the specific what's called an MPI. Sorry, there's a lot of acronyms in this business, but that is able to access the 3DS 2.0 system. So we have already gone live with that in Europe because they mandated it earlier, and we are now working with everybody to get that ready for the Caribbean and Central America right now as well. So most banks, like as NCB does, mandate 3D Secure as part of the online processing experience, and we have provided that for like I say 12, 13 years now, and then now we're getting ready for the next iteration, which will provide more security and a better experience for customers when they're going onto websites of merchants that use 3DS or Verified by Visa and MasterCard Secure Code.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for all the insightful information. And thank you to our audience for the questions that were sent through. And yes, you would have heard it from Christopher Burns, adapt or die. And we may feel a bit ominous about that, but you definitely want to get your digital footprints out there, guys, in order to take advantage of some of the amazing benefits that were also shared by Chris of having your business online. So let's start about this process of getting started, right? Many of us may think of e-commerce as being very challenging, something that requires developers. And as you would have been listening to Chris just now, you would have heard quite a few technical terms. And it may sound like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do this because I need a developer and I don't have a developer. And you're thinking that you have to have all these tech skills. Okay, how about you are able to jumpstart your business with e-commerce in a box? You heard it here first, or maybe second, but yeah, you're hearing it here. One of the biggest perks of e-commerce is the fact that it can be really, really simple. You don't actually need to be an expert yourself. You don't have to be a programmer. Sometimes you don't even have to hire a programmer or even an IT specialist to be able to utilize the tools for your business. And NCB has made the process even simpler with the e-commerce in a box solution. So here to tell us more about the NCB e-commerce in a box solution is Mr. Ariel Roshwerger, who's the CEO of Figaro. Ariel is going to be touching on how you can jumpstart your business using just this solution. Ariel, hi, good to see you again. Welcome. We are so happy to have you.
Hi, thank you. Very happy to be here and be able to share with you a little bit about how to get started your business online with the e-commerce in a box solution by Figaro. All right, so to get started, I wanted to share a little bit about how you can begin. So most of us, when we think about e-commerce, we directly start thinking about building a website, building a store, kind of like building our own Amazon. And this is especially important nowadays because most of the population throughout the region are connected and online. Just in Central America alone, over 60% of coverage of internet population exists, and they are spending over 7 hours per day using online tools. Over the entire Americas, we have on top of the 87% of people signing up on social media and trying to find out pages, businesses, and sharing information with one another. And that makes up over 776 million people already online, trying to buy online, trying to get their needs and solve and pay online with their credit or debit cards. So building a website or selling online, it's basically not a commodity anymore. It's more of a need for every business to keep going. So we have created a solution called Figaro Shops. Basically, Figaro Shops is a way for you to kickstart your business online in just a few clicks. With Figaro Shops, which is our web builder solution, you can easily build and manage your online store fully, from uploading your products, sending out invoices, controlling your inventory, all the way to managing logistics. So requesting a DHL pickup and delivery, quoting for your delivery services, and taking payment for your products or services, both physical and digital. So with Figaro Shops, you can basically use as much or as little as a need of a developer or a coach or assistance, because the whole platform is for self-service. It will help you build and grow as you need, and you can count on Figaro support team for assistance. So let's take a look on how Figaro Shops, a custom-built, ready-to-go solution, compares to using a traditional web store, like building your own store, or using one of those platforms that come from abroad, and you need to integrate into a gateway before being able to use it. So if you compare a traditional web store, you're going to need coding. That means you're going to be needing to hire a developer, and the cost of the project is just going to skyrocket. The security is a complement. While the bank and some other components might be certified, your website will need to take into account security, especially for your hosting environment and for the communications. You're going to have to build up on servers. Your whole infrastructure, you're going to be needing to build it, manage it, and sustain it. Payments, they're going to be a plugin or an add-on. It's not going to be built in by default. So you're going to need to hire and select your different providers, make sure they are connected to your bank, and go through all the hassles of getting that setup ready. And anytime you need to do an upgrade, think about it as a special date like Halloween or Valentine's. Every single update will require you to hire again a developer to help you update and maintain your website. So this is going to become more of a business expense. Whereas a solution like Figaro Shops will help you with an easy to use visual editor for you to build your website with a drag and drop visual solution that will help you get started in a matter of minutes. Security is built in, so you don't have to worry or think about it. The system takes care of it automatically. You just start using it, click to publish, and you're ready to go. This will allow you to build on experiences and not build servers. The idea is that you'll be able to start managing the relationship with your clients, develop new products, and improve on your experience without having to worry about the backend or coding of your business. It is ready to work with your bank. We are fully integrated and connected with NCB so that you can kickstart in a matter of minutes. No development, no integration needed. You just sign up with your email and name, create a password, and you're good to go. There is constant optimization from our end that will allow you to keep updating your site, creating new experiences, creating seasonal advertisements, or upgrading the content of your website without needing a developer. You can do it from the commodity of your cell phone or from a tablet or computer anywhere in the world where you are. And we actually have study cases from customers in Jamaica that transformed their entire business from a physical store to an online store by just using their iPad, or they started from selling on the street, as Danielle was mentioning on her presentation, to selling online with a full website and a POS integrated to her store. So this is a growth investment, a solution that in a whole one-stop shop solution, you are able to keep track and grow your business. So how this fits on the market? Basically, Figure Shops is a tool that is powerful both for new ventures as well as for existing businesses transforming. It is fully flexible to help you adapt your business and grow, while at the same time is very simple to use to help you build up your first website or payments experience. Next slide, please. So one of the key facts for Figure Shops and Figaro as a whole solution is that it is trusted by real people. We are serving customers in over 30 countries throughout the Central America and Caribbean region. Lots of them are in Jamaica, already using Figure Shops for selling, for logistics, for invoicing, from Fortune 500 companies, government entities, all the way to entrepreneurs that are selling arts and crafts and creating new experiences, service providers, donation, run campaigns, and many other things. Next slide, please. So what's included with your Figure Shop solution is a very important thing to know. So it's not only an easy to use, no code visual web builder that will help you get started with your templates, select the template that you need, add your content, your pictures, products, pricing, etc. But it also comes jam-packed with a full set of features. You are going to be able to use our logistics integration, for example, with DHL Express to export your products anywhere in the world. Your package comes with free hosting for the website, free SSL security certificate. You can create an unlimited number of pages within your store. You can either use a free subdomain to start with not having to worry about anything, or you can actually buy or use the existing domain that you have. And you're going to be able to enjoy a full invoicing platform with accounting, inventory management, customer management, and many other tools. There is also a full accounting module that will help you with your basic needs on generating reports, tax reports, and many other things, so that you can keep tabs on how your business is doing, as well as enjoy world-class support either on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, live chat, or via email. So that said, this is effortless page creation, meaning that you can start with a pre-built site that is almost ready. You just need to upload your products, your logo, and you're good to go. Or you can customize this as much or as little as you need. You can include your videos from YouTube. You can embed forms. You can create about us pages, informational pages, or anything that you need, all without any code. So as I was mentioning, the whole platform is backed by a full business engine that will help you keep running your business from anywhere in the world. This means that we have included invoicing tools for your B2B needs or B2C needs, a logistics platform to keep track of all the orders that you receive online from your web store, as well as other channels. And now I want to show you some other ways in which you can start your online business that don't require having a website. So if you already have social media, if you already have a WhatsApp line, if you're already doing business, there are other tools that we're going to see on the next slide that will help you keep tabs and don't miss any sale opportunity. So this means e-commerce plus social commerce plus invoicing. So nowadays, as you know, there's a lot of what we call zero e-commerce, where people are selling online on their Facebook page, Instagram page, but they end up paying in cash upon delivery or doing a wire transfer. And that actually can change and can become a full e-commerce experience that will improve your customers' experience with your business. So for this, we have a tool called payment buttons. Most of us know them as links that we receive to make a payment, and that's it. Well, they can be just that. With Figaro, a payment button is much more. Receiving online payments with payment buttons is easier than ever. You just share a link on your Facebook page, your blog, your existing website, or any chat application, or you can even place it anywhere on the web, like email marketing, and your customer can have a full payout experience where they can choose quantity, they can enter coupon codes, they can enter their or delivery information and quote for logistics, and much more, even ranging to dynamic payment buttons that will allow you to accept dynamically and adapt to the checkout experience that you need. So you can calculate tax rates, you can support coupon codes, delivery quotes, and many other tools. So let's take a look on what kind of payment buttons and what kind of scenarios we can use them on. So if you're sending out invoices to your customers, let's say you're selling goods or you're a lawyer or an accountant, you can actually generate invoices from Figaro and send them out to your customers anywhere in the world with just one click. This can be sent via email or WhatsApp, and they're going to be able to enter their credit card or debit card or key card to complete payment 24/7, and will automate the process of marking that invoice as paid and sending out a payment confirmation. If you are selling products or services, doesn't matter if they're physical or digital, and if you have a social media like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Twitter, or you're just sending out email marketing or communicating via WhatsApp or using WhatsApp Marketplace, you can copy and paste the payment buttons or just click from your Figaro account and start selling in a matter of seconds. With products and services payment buttons, you are able to provide a full website experience. It's kind of like a hosted payment solution that is secure, that is codeless, and it's very intuitive for your users. With this kind of product and service, you can have your customers just one click away from completing payment. You can automate your invoicing, automate your inventory, quote automatically for logistics, and request pickup and delivery automatically, all within your Figaro platform. All the products and services payment buttons are fully integrated to your Figaro platform. So your products, inventories, everything is going to be available to be used with them. And lastly, but not least, we have custom payment buttons. So for those of you that already have a website, call it a WordPress website, a blog, you're running a charity run or anything like that, you can use custom buttons to create a fully flexible experience. So instead of doing a complex integration with a gateway or other tools, you can use custom payment buttons which require a line of code that you just copy and paste to create flexible experiences. From sharing one-time fixed amount buttons, for example, if you're selling jeans, chairs, or anything like that, and just want to take the payment without invoicing, without inventory or anything, all the way to the open amount buttons. For example, if you are taking donations, or if you have a website where your customer can choose multiple items and you want them to be able to choose the amount to pay, or if you want your own website or external platform like an application or system to define the amount and send the customer for payment in Figaro. So we have all the different tools that you're going to need, including recurring invoices and payments. So meaning that you can have a subscription-based business and have Figaro automatically send out invoices and collect payment from your customer card without them having to re-enter the information once and over. Recurring invoices allows you to choose the frequency in which you want them to be sent. For example, for gym memberships every month, or if you're selling hot salsa, you can actually have them send out every day or every week or whatever agreement you have with your customer. So this will help you secure your cash flow, grow your business, and automate the process all together. So how can you grow your business with e-commerce? So with Figaro, as we were seeing, we have all the invoicing tools that you're going to need for either one-time or recurring invoices for your normal business. You're going to have all the accounting tools that you need to keep track of your taxes, invoicing, pending invoices, expense report, and everything, all the way to multiple online payments experiences that are clicks away from you to have your own online e-commerce store, either creating a web store or sending out payment buttons on social media, WhatsApp, or anywhere online. And you can start today with 1 free month with Figaro and NCB using the promo code on the screen. With that, you're going to be able to use the full Figaro platform free of charge for 1 month, enjoy your website, send out invoices, set up your products and services, upload your client list, and be ready to get started accepting payments and growing your business at the levels that you had never seen before. So security is one of the key issues when selling online and in store. As we were seeing on the previous presentation, there are tons of tools that will help you make sure that transactions and your online ecosystem is safe. For us at Figaro, speed, security, and reliability are key. So as you saw, speed is of the essence. You can sign up and start selling online with just a few clicks. But what happens with the sales? Figaro and the Figaro shops, the payment buttons, and the whole Figaro ecosystem, while we are a PCI DSS platform, we also have a full top-notch cloud infrastructure to make sure that we are always available, that it is reliable and secure. We provide over 99.99% uptime. We provide SEO optimization and load optimization so that your website payment buttons, they are easy to load either from a cell phone with poor connection or from your home Wi-Fi, so that every single time that your customers try to complete a payment, make a purchase, they're able to do it. We provide friendly support to help you set up, to resolve any issues you have or any queries that you might have about transactions, the use of the platform, or best practices. And we provide SSL certificate for all the different scenarios. If you are connecting via a payment button, it's going to be protected. If you're going to be doing a Figaro Shops web store, you're going to get your own SSL certificate. And this is just in addition of all the different security measurements that we have on the back end to help you protect your transactions and make sure your users and yourselves are online and secure. Lastly and not least, we also have the 3D secure capabilities to help make sure that all transactions that are running towards you are protected by Visa Secure and MasterCard Secure Code. If you are wondering, how can this be easy for me? I'm not a tech savvy person. I've never done e-commerce. Not to worry, we have you covered. At Figaro, education and help is of the essence, and it's a key part of our company. So we have multiple tools to help you succeed. First of all, we are very soon to launch our Figaro Academy, a virtual academy where you are going to be able to learn how to transform your physical business into an online store, how to kickstart a business like an entrepreneurship, or even how to do online marketing, learn more about e-commerce, or become a power user of the Figaro platform. This is all going to be available very soon and will be announced on our social media channels. So make sure to follow us to be aware of all the different announcements and new things coming up. We have a dedicated onboarding service where when you set up for Figaro shops, you can request assistance on a one-on-one call from our team. You can also join to our daily webinars to learn more about how to get started with e-commerce, how to get started with Figaro, or you can contact our customer support team at any time. We have a customer success team that is dedicated to answer your questions via WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, live chat, or that you can even contact via email, or even feel free to access our 24/7 help desk that has tutorials and guides to help you with everything about e-commerce, about Figaro, and some tips on how to kickstart your business with online payments.
Excellent, excellent. Awesome. If you have just tuned in, thanks for joining us at the NCB e-commerce virtual summit. We just heard another exceptional presentation from Ariel Roshberger, who's the CEO of Figaro, on using NCB's e-commerce in a box solution to jumpstart your business. And what a jumpstart. Like literally, you could simply be trying to sell from your Instagram page or your Facebook page with a button, click of a button, no website necessary, all the way to actually having your own website and integrating invoicing and full payment gateway kind of setup. So thank you so much, Ariel, for highlighting how simple and yet secure your Figaro solution is, and the way that NCB's e-commerce in a box allows businesses to start no matter where they are. Now, I know we have some questions from our viewers, and because everybody's eager to get started, so we're going to be allowing a few questions. If you haven't yet dropped your question in the chat, please go ahead and do so. First question for you, Ariel, is how can I use my own domain name?
All right, great question. And that's actually very easy to do. So from your Figaro account on My Shop, you're actually able to click and select to use your domain and just type it in. And then we have a very quick tutorial on how you can connect that domain with Figaro in case that is an existing domain that you had previously registered. If you haven't registered your own domain and you want to use, for example, ariel.com, you can actually contact our support team and they can actually buy it for you and connect it automatically for your account. So it's a very seamless and easy process, and it kicks in with effect immediately as soon as it is set up.
Okay, that's great. I just love how you talk about it being easy and simple and just seamless. That just sounds wonderful. That's what we all want as entrepreneurs in early stage of taking our business online. All right, so we did also hear you talking about that 1 month free trial, which I think is absolutely great. What is the actual cost for Figaro?
All right. So after the free month, the account is going to be charged depending on the plan that you select. Our plans for payment buttons start on $14.99 US per month. You can use all Figaro Unlimited, so create as many invoices, products, payment buttons, or anything that you need. And if you want the Figaro Shops version, which is the web store builder and the hosting and all of that, they actually start on $44.99 a month and include as well all the website, unlimited pages, products, orders, and everything within Figaro.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Ariel. That was a really precise and informative presentation and exciting. It makes you feel like you can get started right now. Well, actually, you can get started right now with as simple as logging into all of the contact information that Ariel shared. You can easily just Google Figaro.com and you'll be guided to the different options that you have as an entrepreneur. We thank you for taking the time to be with us here today and sharing that insight with us, Ariel. So take care. And thanks, guys, for your questions so far. Now we're going to be helping you to identify which of the solutions shared by Christopher and Ariel would be best suited for your business. As you would have heard, whether you are just starting up and you have no website, maybe you just have an IG page or a Facebook page, or you have ramped up already and you're online, maybe you're even on Shopify. You could be at any different point in your business and wanting to set up your e-commerce solution. So now we're going to tailor solutions for you specifically. Targeted growth is best achieved with solutions that complement not just the business, but the business goals. There are many e-commerce solutions out there, as you've been hearing since earlier this morning. So it's really important that you are not just investing in any solution. You must spend time, as you are doing with this seminar, investigating and navigating carefully how the solution will solve, expand, or generate for your business. So, Tamish Liu, NCB Sales and Relationship Manager for the Payment and Digital Channels Division, is here with us to briefly discuss which solution is best suited for your business. Tamish, good to have you.
Good to be here, Stacy. Always a pleasure where we can speak about our solutions and let the businesses know the value that our solutions have for their business.
Absolutely. A lot has been shared by our earlier presenters. I think the first question that's coming up for me is, where do I even get started? Like, how do I become a merchant with NCB?
Okay, so it's actually quite simple. How do you become a merchant? So the first thing that you'd want to do is to establish an account, because this is how you are paid when the transactions are done on your site or online. As if you're in trade and you've registered a business name, then you're required to open an account in that business name. But I'll be very quick to point out that if you're in the service industry, you aren't required to have a business account. You can actually operate with your personal account, and what we'll do is tag it as personal business. So having an account is important, whether it's a business account or a personal account. The next thing would be to contact our unit so that we can get you established as a merchant. That includes having a merchant agreement signed and completed. Other forms that we do, we provide and complete with you. Banking history is requested, as well as if your nature of business requires a license, then we ask for that license. But it's very simple, the requirements are very straightforward, and our sales team easily walk through those steps with you.
Okay, now you actually raised some really key points there, because one of the things that has been in our space since last year is COVID. And you talked about salespersons walking you through this. Is this something that you can start online and then get support with? Do you have to go inside the branch? What is that experience like?
So our mantra is to be digital to the core, and we're getting there where all our processes will be digital end to end. There are some documents that are still physical documents, but most of the documents can be completed and sent back to us soft copy, but the merchant agreement will be signed. But again, as we move forward in this space, then it is our intention to have everything digitized.
Well, I think that's actually a great advancement, where it's just really one document that has to be physically signed. And it's an important one, right? It's our merchant agreement, so that can be understood. Now, there are several different solutions that were shared today between Christopher and Ariel. How does someone pick? You're the relationship and success person, so you're going to help us now to understand, how do we craft that roadmap towards digital success?
Right, and I can imagine the viewers are listening, and Chris did an amazing presentation. Yes. Ariel demonstrated a lot of details about Figaro Shops, the payment buttons. And I know our viewers and businesses are saying, but as you said, where do I start? Which one is best for me? And it really depends on where the business is in terms of their e-commerce journey. So do you want an e-commerce website? Are you planning on having a developer? What type of investments are you willing to make into the business? Is it that you would prefer that somebody handles it for you? So what I'll do, I'll speak to 4 of the main products, and then I'll speak to the segments that it generally appeals to. And I hope that will allow our businesses to then be able to determine what is best for you.
Yes.
So a standard integration site is where you want to have autonomy over the look, the feel, the functionality, the bells and whistles of the site. So you're going to hire or contract a developer if you don't have one in-house. And that does require some amount of coding and integration to the First Atlantic Gateway. So that is some amount of investment. Larger entities tend to gravitate towards that because it's very important for them to have a handle of how they are represented in the space. The hosted page is very similar, and the only difference is that instead of the payment being completed on the site itself, the payment is moved to a very secure site and handled again through First Atlantic's gateway. So standard setup as well as hosted page, we find that larger merchants tend to gravitate towards that because it does require some tech knowledge or some development work to have those pages set up. But again, we have something for everyone. So if budget is an issue, then we have the payment buttons or the Figaro shops. And I think Ariel went over the prices just now, as well as their amazing offer to offer 1 month free so that you can get accustomed to the site and see how well it works for you. So I won't get into the pricing too much, but the payment gateway is best suited for you if it's something that you want to start almost instantaneously. So if you're looking for a solution that you want to be up and running in a day or two, then the Figaro buttons or shops is definitely for you. We'll find that most small to medium businesses gravitate towards this. So I have an Instagram page. I show my products. Somebody DMs me, asks me about my product. I want to simply send them a link for them to be able to pay me. And I don't want to invest too much in having a developer or anything like that. I want all of that to be handled by Figaro. Yes. That is what the payment buttons allows. And then you can customize it a little bit more, as Ariel said before, to have the Figaro shops. So it's smaller business that tends to gravitate towards that solution. Again, it could also be that you're not interested in creating the website yourself, you're not interested in marketing yourself, you do want a loyalty program, you do want to have logistics in terms of the delivery, and this is where the marketplace providers come in, right? So a lot of persons are very familiar with a 7Crave, Quick Plate, Q-Mall, Brata Living. I don't want to start naming and get myself into any problems, but we're very proud of the fact that we are acquirers for these large marketplace providers. So what happens is these marketplace providers, they host all these different entities who don't have an interest necessarily to be independent and have websites on their own. You go onto this site, you want to order food, you order the food, it's delivered to you by the marketplace providers. Let's think of it as an online mall. So you're interested in buying a pair of shoes, you go onto a particular merchant's online mall, you select what it is that you're looking for, different merchants come up, and then you're able to choose which one you want to pay or purchase from. Okay. So if you're not very inclined to establish a website or to work out the logistics, then the marketplace provider is definitely for you.
Wow. No, let me tell you something. What I love options. Like if I go to a restaurant, I want a big menu because I want the options. And it is clear that NCB has just brought all the options to your e-commerce game and to mine, because I have my own little entrepreneurial hustle, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what I also really took listening to was just the different ways that you can scale. So guys, this is really important for you to consider, and doing so with a company like NCB makes sense. You can start off small with the link, but you can also plan your roadmap. So when I grow, I want to be able to have the full-blown website with all the bells and whistles and have the gateway with, through First Atlantic. So they can actually plot out their pathway to growing their business and scaling.
You have it definitely right, Stacey. That's exactly it. And you do find that even larger entities who you would think would just want the standard integrated website, yes, they may have smaller projects where the payment buttons, comes in handy. So right, you find that merchants tend to have this or that, or as you said, start here and then continue to build as the business grows.
No, that's excellent. No, wonderful. I do have a couple of questions, guys, especially if you're trying to figure out where you fit in the big picture that has just been painted for you. Go ahead and drop your questions in the chat so that we can make sure that we are asking Tamish. But just a couple of questions for you based on what has already come across. What is we talked about the requirement. Can we apply for both e-commerce facilities, meaning can I have an application in for the big picture thing and then also be doing the Figaro thing as well?
So Stacey, is all about the customer and their business need, and if it is that you need one product and the other at the same time, it's totally fine with us. We're really into consultative selling, and we listen to what your need is, and if that is what is required for the business, then yes, that is allowed.
Okay, excellent. And does your website provide information on both Figaro and First Atlantic?
I want to encourage everyone to visit our website. It has so much information on our service, FAQs, benefits. So if it is that you have missed anything in the presentations before, please visit our website. Yes. It is www.jncb.com/e-commerce. It has almost all the details that you will need to know about e-commerce. It also has the details there that if you're interested, you can fill it out and we'll get that information, gather it, and then be contacted by one of our expert sales team members.
Right. So if you're busy and you're running, but you definitely want to make sure that you tap into the system, the ecosystem before you forget. Like you're on the webinar today, you're on the seminar today, you're watching, you're tuning in before you forget. Jump onto jncb.com/e-commerce and fill out the form and make sure that you have somebody contacting you, even if you're going to give them a call. Just make sure you do it as a reminder for yourself. So Tamish, this has been really helpful.
Stacey, I don't want to forget, we do have a special going on. I know Ariel mentioned the 1 month free.
Special.
Right, so up until September, if you're signing up for First Atlantic standard integration, then those fees are discounted to $200 as the one-time setup fee.
Oh, that's great.
So please take advantage of it. It's an amazing deal, and it would be remiss of me not to mention that.
No, thank you very much. We love the deals, folks. We just love the deals. So thank you so much for that. And we're all aspiring business owners and leaders here. So we want to make sure that we're giving each person opportunities and advantages that they can take, take towards building their e-commerce business online. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tamish, for sharing that that deal that's running right now, guys. So make sure that you check out jncb.com/e-commerce, and you will be able to then access the information that you need, fill out the form so that you can get somebody serving you and the needs of your business, helping you to plot out your e-commerce business goals so that you can move forward. Thank you so much to all of our speakers so far. We are getting ready to take a quick break, but before you get up, I just want to make sure that I share with you that we are having a giveaway. And so if you want to take advantage of this giveaway, now is the time to do so. Now, you would have heard from a couple of our speakers about the benefits of NCB's website templates. The benefits of NCB's website templates. We would like for you to drop us notes in chat. You can chat with us and send us your answer to what are the benefits, top 3 benefits that you can recall of NCB's website template. You would have just heard quite a bit about that, so make sure that you do that before you go on break. We're taking a 5-minute stretch break. Buy a break, grab yourself a refreshment, run to the restroom, and see us back as we continue on with NCB's e-commerce 2021 Summit. Hope it's been great for you. Don't go too far, lots more coming up.
Selling online is easy. Whether you're self-employed without a business account or a large corporation ready to join the global online marketplace, we have a solution for you. Accept payments via WhatsApp as well as other social media with NCB Payment Button. No website, no problem. Get started in minutes with ready-to-use customizable templates supported by NCB website templates, or sell to customers across the globe in an online mall with NCB Marketplace. Plus, get a pre-approved business credit card. At NCB, we have the right solution for your business to get you online and earning 24/7. Sign up today at jncb.com/e-commerce. Conditions apply.
Hi.
7 Crave is a food delivery application. People use it pretty much, order from about 90 restaurants thereabout with their credit card, get the food delivered within minutes, right, to their door. For persons in the online marketplace right now, NCB will be the best place right now to set up your e-commerce shop. A lot of startups want to get into e-commerce, and they have pretty much shift a lot of their business aspect towards getting startups on e-commerce, making it easier for persons to onboard. With NCB, you have daily turnover in terms of your funds. I think they are the best by far when it comes to e-commerce.
Visit jncb.com/e-commerce to sign up for NCB Marketplace.
Hi, I'm Janelle Pantrico, the Creative Director at Spaces Limited. What is Spaces? If you've not heard of us before, we're a furniture and lifestyle store located in Kingston, Jamaica. So Spaces has always had an online presence with our Spaces Jamaica website. But prior to this year, we always found that most persons that utilized the site were from the diaspora. Not many Jamaicans took advantage of the easy way of shopping online. Thanks to NCB and Figaro, they have made the process of shopping online easy, safe, and convenient. It's so easy. I mean, it's been like the best thing that has happened to us since the beginning of the year.
Visit jncb.com/e-commerce to sign up for NCB Payment Button, powered by Figaro.
Shortly after leaving UTech, I decided to give entrepreneurship a shot. I began selling stainless steel jewelry on the sidewalk in Halfway Tree. I reinvested my money into the business and got a vehicle. I was selling from the back of my vehicle. Fast forward, 2 years later, from the sidewalk, I now have a small store inside Park Plaza in Halfway Tree and a website template from NCB. Having launched my website from NCB, I have seen increased sales. The most valuable element of NCB's Figaro is being able to make money in your sleep, and that is priceless.
Upgrade your business with an NCB website template. Visit jncb.com/e-commerce.
Selling online is easy. Whether you're self-employed without a business account or a large corporation ready to join the global online marketplace, we have a solution for you. Accept payments via WhatsApp as well as other social media with NCB payment button. No website, no problem. Get started in minutes with ready-to-use customizable templates supported by NCB website templates, or sell to customers across the globe in an online mall with NCB Marketplace. Plus, get a pre-approved business credit card. At NCB, we have the right solution for your business to get you online and earning 24/7. Sign up today at jncb.com/e-commerce. Conditions apply.
7Crave is a food delivery application. People use it pretty much, order from about 90 restaurants, thereabout, with their credit card, get the food delivered within minutes, right, to their door. For persons in the online marketplace right now, NCB will be the best place right now to set up your e-commerce shop. A lot of startups want to get into e-commerce, and they have pretty much shifted a lot of their business aspect towards getting startups on e-commerce, making it easier for persons to onboard. With NCB, you have daily turnover in terms of your funds. I think they are the best by far when it comes to e-commerce.
Visit jncb.com/e-commerce to sign up for NCB Marketplace.
Hi, I'm Janelle Pantrico, the Creative Director at Spaces Limited. What is Spaces? If you've not heard of us before, we're a furniture and lifestyle store located in Kingston, Jamaica. So Spaces has always had an online presence with our Spaces Jamaica website. But prior to this year, we always found that most persons that utilized the site were from the diaspora. Not many Jamaicans took advantage of the easy way of shopping online. Thanks to NCB and Figaro, they have made the process of shopping online easy, safe, and convenient. It's so easy. I mean, it's been like the best thing that has happened to us since the beginning of the year.
Visit jncb.com/e-commerce to sign up for NCB payment button, powered by Figaro.
Shortly after leaving UTech, I decided to give entrepreneurship a shot. I began selling stainless steel jewelry on the sidewalk in Halfway Tree. I reinvested my money into the business and got a vehicle. I was selling from the back of my vehicle. Fast forward, 2 years later, from the sidewalk, I now have a small store inside Park Plaza in Halfway Tree and a website template from NCB. Having launched my website from NCB, I have seen increased sales. The most valuable element of NCB's Figaro is being able to make money in your sleep, and that is priceless.
Upgrade your business with an NCB website template. Visit jncb.com/e-commerce.
Selling online is easy. Whether you're self-employed without a business account or a large corporation ready to join the global online marketplace, we have a solution for you. Accept payments via WhatsApp as well as other social media with NCB payment button. No website, no problem. Get started in minutes with ready-to-use customizable templates supported by NCB website templates, or sell to customers across the globe in an online mall with NCB Marketplace. Plus, get a pre-approved business credit card. At NCB, we have the right solution for your business to get you online and earning 24/7. Sign up today at jncb.com/e-commerce. Conditions apply.
7Crave is a food delivery application. People use it pretty much, order from about 90 restaurants, thereabout, with their credit card, get the food delivered within minutes, right, to their door. For persons in the online marketplace right now, NCB will be the best place right now to set up your e-commerce shop. A lot of startups want to get into e-commerce, and they have pretty much shifted a lot of their business aspect towards getting startups on e-commerce, making it easier for persons to onboard. With NCB, you have daily turnover in terms of your funds. I think they are the best by far when it comes to e-commerce.
Visit jncb.com/e-commerce to sign up for NCB Marketplace.
Hi, I'm Janelle Pantrico, the Creative Director at Spaces Limited. What is Spaces? If you've not heard of us before, we're a furniture and lifestyle store located in Kingston, Jamaica. So Spaces has always had an online presence with our Spaces Jamaica website. But prior to this year, we always found that most persons that utilized the site were from the diaspora. Not many Jamaicans took advantage of the easy way of shopping online. Thanks to NCB and Figaro, they have made the process of shopping online easy, safe, and convenient. It's so easy. I mean, it's been like the best thing that has happened to us since the beginning of the year.
Visit jncb.com/ecommerce to sign up for NCB payment button, powered by Figaro.
Shortly after leaving UTech, I decided to give entrepreneurship a shot. I began selling stainless steel jewelry on the sidewalk in Halfway Tree. I reinvested my money into the business and got a vehicle. I was selling from the back of my vehicle. Fast forward, 2 years later, from the sidewalk, I now have a small store inside Park Plaza in Halfway Tree and a website template from NCB. Having launched my website from NCB, I have seen increased sales. The most valuable element of NCB's Figaro is being able to make money in your sleep, and that is priceless.
Upgrade your business with an NCB website template. Visit jncb.com/ecommerce.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you are refreshed. Like, I really hope you guys were able to take your bio break and grab something to drink, or maybe even get something to eat for the second half, because we're around about lunchtime, right? And that you're ready now to be engaged in an even deeper conversation and discussion around taking on the world through e-commerce. So, if you're just joining the session, welcome. We are happy to have you. Don't worry. You'll be able to view the first half of this summit on NCB's YouTube channel after the event. Now, we will be diving into our next topic about how to get started online. And you can get started online today. If you were on with us earlier, you would have heard about some of the really easy ways that you can get going. But now we're going to take that even further with advising you around how you can get going today. One of the top reasons listed why customers prefer to shop online is because they get to do it whenever they want. It's like you have a 24/7 shop available, world time, real time, all the time. That simple fact is part of why it is expected that 95% of all retail purchases will be made via e-commerce by 2040. Can you imagine that? 95% of all purchases everywhere will be made by e-commerce online 2040. That's only 19 years away, guys. And that's why it is so important for you to get started today. And remember that 25 trillion US dollars that we talked about earlier, you definitely want to be a part of that. So, joining us now, another expert, the CEO of Internet Income Jamaica and POW Social Media, Alicia Little, is our next speaker. And she will be guiding business owners and entrepreneurs on how they can start their very own online business. Hello again, Alicia. Nice to see your friend. Long time. Welcome.
I know. Hi, Stacy. How are you?
I'm really great. Thanks.
Good, good. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to teach everyone how that they can get started. So if you have a retail store or you're about to launch a retail store, I'm going to show you how you can get started using social media. So what we're talking about today is called the social commerce formula. And if you guys can put up the slides, I would love that. All right. So what is social commerce? Social commerce is using social media to sell your products online. So next slide, please. So what we're going to be talking about here today is what I call the little challenge. My last name is Little, get it? We just call it the little challenge. But what my sister Lorette Little and I did was we said, why don't we challenge us to open up a brand new e-commerce store and generate $10,000 in 30 days. So we had a lot of customers who were retail businesses or wanted to start a retail business or wanted to start a simple online e-commerce business, but they wanted to know the ins and outs. So we challenged ourselves to do it ourselves and then to share the results with everybody. So are you guys ready to hear about those results? If you're ready, type ready in the chat box. And I'm going to walk you through how we sold stuff, purses, jewelry, clothing, shoes online using only social media. All right, everybody's ready? So for this challenge, we didn't use any of our existing clients. So we had no clients. We had never sold in the retail niche before. We had no following. But of course, what we do have is marketing experience and the know-how of how to start a business. So we said, you know what, let's go in, start a brand new store and generate $10,000 in 30 days. Next slide, please. Spoiler alert, we did it. We did generate that 10,000 in 30 days. And then by the end of the next month, we had generated $20,704 with a completely new store, completely virtual, that no one had ever heard about before. We had 620 total orders and 879 new customers. Like, we didn't have these customers before, but they now were registered with us to shop with us because we collected their name and their email address. So really exciting, 620 orders. And I'm going to show you how we did that. So the strategy number one that we used was we went live. Here's the thing. Go live as a retailer, as a store owner. I don't care if you have a restaurant, a car dealership, whatever you're selling, you need to showcase your products by being live. So I just want you to type in the chat box, go live. Let's make sure that everybody gets that message. Type go live. That is the number one strategy. Now that a lot of people are shopping online, like, have you heard the mass amount of people that went shopping during the pandemic went shopping online? And now it's become a habit. We're shopping online, and shopping from a live presentation has become even more popular. So I just used my smartphone to go live on my Facebook page or in my Facebook group. I'd go live on the page and share it into the group. But some tips for having a good live are to make sure that your lighting is good so you can showcase your product. Make sure that you have a great background that's not too distracting. Smile and be happy. You would be amazed by the amount of people who go live to sell their stuff and go live looking miserable. Like, all right, I'm going to sell these socks next, and that sells nothing. You have to be a happy seller. So smile, get your flow right, and be engaging. People love to hear their names being called out. So really call out people's names and be engaging. Now, one of the things that I sold during our live session, I'm just going to give you guys a sample, is this wallet right here. So when I sold this wallet, here's how I would do it. All right, ladies, so next up, we have this amazing red zebra wallet. You can tell the pattern on this wallet is really nice. It feels just how it looks. It's got this great snap closure where you can put your credit cards in here, your other cards here. Actually, your driver's license goes here. Put your money in these sides right here, your cash money, and then it closes securely. You can even hear the click when it closes. So that's just an example, but you're showcasing the product, holding it up close to the camera, showcasing the features so that your audience will want to buy it and be excited about showcasing the product. So what I did during my live was that as I was selling this, I would tell people if they want to buy it, comment sold in the comments below and it will be theirs. So let's just practice. If you want to buy this zebra wallet right here, and I'm selling it for just $1, just an example, comment sold in the comments below, but you better do it fast. Do you know why? Because I only have these 2 left in stock. So we're going to come to that in just a minute about how to get people to buy and to buy urgently. Now, as you're going live, tell everyone when you will be going live selling. So I didn't just pop up my camera and go live. I made an announcement in my Facebook group. I created an event in my Facebook group and my page telling them the time I would be live and where I would be live. All right, let's move on to the next step, which is step number 3. If you change the slides for me, please. Thank you so much. I collected name and email addresses of everyone who was interested in shopping with me. Now, 2 ways that you can do that are really easy. You can tell people if they're interested, email you their email address and their phone number to get reminders of when you're live. Or what you can do is invite people to join your Facebook group where you have specials and you post things and you're going live. And on Facebook, with a Facebook group, there's this part called questions. So as admin of the group, you can ask people questions before they can join your group. So what are some of the questions that you would ask your future shoppers? That's what you need to think about. But always collect their name, then their email address, and then you can ask them questions about what sizes are they looking for? What type of fashion do they like? If they had to pick a purse, would it be Coach or Gucci, right? So you start to get to know their style. And then inside of the Facebook group, you'll see all the answers before you accept them into the group. So check out all those the answers, put them on a spreadsheet. Now you have everybody's name, email, phone number, and all the answers to their questions. So send an email reminding everybody when you're live. And when you're live, send another email saying, I'm live now. And then send a text message out. So use a text service, send a text message out and tell people I'm live now. Give them the link to see you live on your Facebook page. One tip here is that make sure that you're actually live before the text message goes out. So when they click on the link, they see you live and getting ready to sell to them. Okay, next slide, please. Now, when you're talking about your product, showcase your products, the size, the colors, the price. So this sparkle sequence tank top that I have in the back right here was our number 2 best selling. I'm going to tell you what our best selling package was or products, but this was number 2 best selling. And we had it in every size, every color. So as I was showcasing it, I would say, okay, now it's time for our sequins cami. We have this 2 smalls left, 3 mediums, 4 larges, 2 extra larges, and on and on. So I would always talk about the sizes that were available. And as Ariel mentioned, one of the things that you can do is when someone comments, okay, I want that, you can simply send them or have someone send them the link. So the link that goes back to their Figaro website or the website that you've set up that's integrated with NCB to buy like that. So you can send them a link or you can send them directly to your website. So you go live on Facebook and then you send them the link to purchase with your website or the link purchase. All right, next slide. So what drives people to purchase now? The first thing is limited availability. Hurry! I only have 2 left, and when they're gone, they're gone. Limited availability, write that down. That always works. The next thing that always works is coupons. Everybody wants to clip a coupon. So give them a discount for purchasing. And I like to do, all right, if you purchase before this live is over, this coupon is going to work. Give them a coupon for a discount or make it for that day only. So people like coupons, but the coupon also has to have limited availability, either by time or the number of coupons. You can say, as long as you see this coupon code up, it's still active, but when it comes down, the special is gone. All right. And then the next thing are specials. So you want to have a summer sale, a clearance event, a birthday clearance. when it's time to have a special, just think of something. It could be your dog's birthday. I don't care. Think of a reason to have a special. Any reason will do. I've used my birthday, my sister's birthday, clearance. I said, hey, there's no more space on the rack. We need to have a quick clearance events. Oh my gosh, they always do so well. So think of a reason to have a special. So what drives people to purchase now? Limited availability, only 2 left, coupons, 10% off today only, or specials. Okay, next slide. So the other thing is user-generated social proof. So as a store owner, when people see other people posting on Facebook about your products that they bought from you, I don't care if you're a restaurant and this is the food they got from you, or what type of store you are, that is social proof that people are enjoying what they buy from your store. And then you can take that content, repost it on all of your social media platforms as well. So how did I get people to post photos of the stuff they bought from me? There are some photos right there that people posted on Facebook from the stuff they bought from our store during the challenge. How did we get them to do it? Incentive. Write that word down, incentive. When you incentivize your customers, you get them to purchase from you, and it works. So here was the incentive. When we sent them the package, there was a flyer in the package, and the flyer said, take a photo of yourself in the clothes, or a photo of the items that you bought from us, post it on social media, tag us or send us an email and let us know that you've done it, and you will get another coupon code that you can use and stack coupon codes, and you will be entered the chance to win a mystery package. And then we started sending out the packages, and they posted in our Facebook group that they got a package just for posting, and boom, 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 the post goes like crazy. New users come to our business because they hear other people talking about it. The way that our Facebook group really grew was by other people, our clients, telling other people about it and bringing in new people. Okay, next slide, please. Another tip was in our Facebook group, we would give out prizes for the person who invited the most people into our group as well. Now, our best customer was Lakeisha from Montego Bay, or one of our best customers. Hi, Lakeisha. One of the things that we loved about having a Facebook group and a Facebook page for our business was that we would post an item for sale and allow our customers to just comment if they wanted it. And then we would send them the link to go get it. So this purse was posted. Lakeisha must have at least 10 purses from our posting parties, which is what we call them when we post items in the group. So we posted this in the group. Lakeisha comments sold, and she gets it. We send it to her. Okay, next slide, please. So what do you need? You need a Facebook page. You need a Facebook group. Always build your own group so you can, own that asset, your Facebook group. For your customers, you need your future customers' email address, you need their text messages, and you need to connect them to Facebook so they're in your Facebook group and they've liked your Facebook page. Next slide. Now, here's a tip. You can also find other groups to go live in. So I saw this lady who had a lot of really great customers in it. She was doing live shopping, and so I paid her $59 to go live in her group. And when I tracked back one of my best customers and said, how did you find me? She found me from that session that I paid $59 for, $59 US, and made $810 US from just one customer. Okay, next slide. So there's this video that I love. I call it the wig video, but it's where this wig company is actually putting on the wigs on camera. And when you watch them put it on, it looks easy. They look great after they're on. The company is doing so well because they're demonstrating their product. So for you, have you demonstrated your product in a live? What does it look like? How do I put it on? And you're answering your customers' questions. Will it look good on me? Right? So think about what you're selling and how you can demonstrate it for people to want it. And make sure that they cannot live without it. This wallet is one of the most amazing wallets on the planet. Like whatever you're saying, make sure they can't live without it. Next slide, please. So you're also using your live video to help overcome objections. If someone says, oh, that's too hard to use, then you go live and demonstrate that it's not too hard to use. This would be maybe some sort of electronic as an example, or a software that you're selling. I've gone live selling my digital courses and software. Next slide. And so, interesting enough, my best-selling products were the products that I couldn't sell before. What am I talking about? So I would sell a product on a live and it wouldn't sell. So what I would do is I would take some of the products that wouldn't sell, and I would put them in a mystery bag. And I would tell the people on a live, this is a mystery bag. And in this mystery bag, I have 4 shirts, and I'm giving you this mystery bag at this price, but it's valued at this price. And people would buy the mystery bags like crazy. My best-selling items were items that I could not sell, repackaged and put into a mystery bag. I did this both for jewelry and clothing, and it was all the rage. I couldn't sell enough mystery bags. I didn't have enough non-selling items to fill my mystery bag, so I eventually bought stuff just to sell in the mystery bag. So do you need help getting your e-commerce business off the ground? I just want to, next slide please, introduce you really quickly to us at POW Social. So over at POW Social, we are strategic partners for FAC, and we work with FAC and Figaro to help our customers also get set up on that platform. So we have 2 options for you. Option number 1 to get started is Cartmazing. So Cartmazing is a marketplace like Amazon that is just for Jamaica. So you can go to cartmazing.com/sellers. It is integrated with the NCB payment gateway already, and you can sign up to be just a seller on this platform. Okay, next slide. Option number 2. If your business has custom needs or requirements and you need a solution tailored to your needs, you can schedule a consultation with one of our web developers. So you can go to powsocial.com/e-commerce and set up a session with one of our team. Or if you already have a website on a popular platform, WooCommerce or Shopify, and you need to get the payment gateway integrated, we also have developers that can plug that in. So just request a call from our team today and we can help you out with that. And we also do all sorts of social media. So if you need anything, you can find me really easily on Instagram and you can reach out. Thank you guys so much. And I know now we've got some time for questions.
Awesome. Yes, we do. Alicia, thank you so much for that. I actually have a first question for you that will really just kind of pinpoint the challenge. I love the little challenge. I love a challenge, right? I'm always either throwing them or trying to do them. And sometimes I epically fail because, you try to keep up. But this one I love. Who does not want to earn 10K in 30 days? Like, hello, me please, right? So remind me of the 3 steps. You said go live, showcase your product, and what was the third one?
So there were 4 of them, but it was about going live, but also making the announcement that you would go live. Okay. So making sure that people know when you're going live and reminding people of when you're live. So go live, first make the announcement that you're going to go live, and then go live, showcase your product, and always make sure that you have some sort of urgency to purchase. Limited availability, coupon codes, and specials are always what get people to purchase and purchase from you quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Okay, excellent. Now, you talked a lot about social media. In particular, you gave us some strategies around Facebook. How can we use social media, not just Facebook, maybe other platforms, to our advantage?
Yes, absolutely. So let me just first talk about the challenge. So I went live on Facebook, but I also made the announcements on Instagram and on Twitter, and of course in email and text message. But all of these different platforms, I mean, you can go live on Instagram and do the exact same thing. Right. For my team, it was just easier for them to send the links on Facebook. And there's also a lot of live shoppers on Facebook. So it's just one of the easier platforms. But of course, for your store, you should definitely have Instagram set up. You should be showcasing your products on YouTube. So do as much as you can to really get exposure for your business on as many social media platforms as you can.
Okay, great. And that's a great point, actually, in terms of just talking about, making sure that you are touching the different platforms. Now, with so many platforms available to us and knowing that product market fit is really the key for any business's success, what strategies can I use on social media to ensure that my business reaches the right target audience? Because you need that product market fit.
Right. So one of the things that I did is I looked and said, where are my future customers? Where are they hanging out? Who are they following? What other groups are they in? So I identified that most of my target customers were on Facebook, and these were the other Facebook groups they were in. So that's why I paid someone to be live in her Facebook group so that I could bring her people over to my Facebook group with her knowledge of it. She knew that I was doing this, and I paid her for it. But you need to see, where are your customers? Where do they hang out? Who do they follow? What pages are they on? And when you identify where your future customers are, then you can target them. We didn't spend any ad dollars on our campaign, but you can also launch campaigns where you're paying Facebook and paying Instagram and paying YouTube to put your business out there and to get more traction over to your website so that you can make more sales.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that leads perfectly into my next question, right? A lot of persons sometimes feel that, if I'm going to do ad spending, it's going to be expensive. How much should I really be thinking about investing in social media, especially for, small business owners when they're just starting out? Like you said, we can start today, and let's say I'm going to just sell, my products that I have at home. How much do I really start thinking about investing in social media?
Right. So you need to grow your Facebook page and your Facebook group. And I did that for free. I didn't spend any ad dollars on purpose because the challenge said we couldn't spend any dollars on ads. That was part of our challenge. But you could spend money on ads to build your page and to build your group instead of just using buzz like I did and going out there and finding people and bringing them to my page and group. But to answer the question of how much to spend a day on social, Facebook will allow you to spend as little as $1 a day. So when businesses, come to me, or I'm talking to an entrepreneur about growing and expanding their business, I'm like, can you spend $5 a day? So skip coffee for today, skip coffee out and the croissant or donut, and can you spend that on your business, just $5 a day? Yeah. If that's a really tough thing, then just start off at $1 a day, because that is the minimum. And now as you start to see that for every dollar you spend, you could be earning 5 or 10, you start to calculate your return on investment from ad spend. We call it ROIAS, return on investment from ad spend. Then you say, okay, now I'm going to spend $5 to make 10, 10 to make 20, and on and on.
Okay, excellent, guys. So you heard it from the expert. You can start with as little as $1 a day investment if you want to actually do more than just, word of mouth or buzz. So Alicia, thank you very, very much. Like, I love the passion and the energy. Can I just tell you, just always bring such a live energy to any of your presentations. And I'm going to sign up for the challenge, or I'm going to take my own challenge. I'm going to create the Stacy challenge, right? The Stacy challenge. I'm going to create my Stacy challenge to earn 10K in 30 days. Guys, you've heard it here. I think that's an excellent way to get going. I'm sure our viewers are very thankful for the insights that you presented. So I want to wish you an amazing rest of your day. It was wonderful talking to you as usual. So take care until we catch up again soon.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Okay, excellent. Now, guys, did you spend time doing the giveaway question that I answered and the giveaway question that I asked you? Remember, before the break, I said we have a giveaway. I'm going to ask the question again just to give you another opportunity in case you guys did not get a chance to, maybe you had to run off as soon as I said we're about to take a break and you were like, okay, what are the benefits of NCB's website template? I'll give you a little hint give you a little hint. Figaro talked a little bit about the website template, right? Ariel from Figaro. Ariel from Figaro talked a little bit about the website template. So you just get a big bus a while ago. I'll give you a nice juicy clue. We want the 3 benefits that you can recall. I hope you guys were taking notes. I took notes, you see me over here with my pen and my paper them. I'm taking notes, right? And you get to win e-commerce training. So all of this stuff, all of this advice that you've been getting, you get to actually win training, free training. Can't beat that, somebody going to teach you how to go make money for free? Oh my gosh, sign me up, please. Okay, so make sure you go ahead and do that, guys, the giveaway, so that you can be entered for that. The winners will be contacted directly. All right, so now we're going to continue on, and we're going to be talking about cybersecurity. Now, do not gloss over with your eyes and your minds, guys, when you hear the word and term cybersecurity. How do I know that that happens? Because I'm in tech also, and sometimes my eyes gloss over when I hear the term cybersecurity. But this is really important. We've actually been talking about it since this morning. Both Christopher Burns from FAC and Ariel from Figaro talked about being certified and compliant. And they also talked about their platforms being secure. Why is this crucial? Well, nowadays, people don't have to break into your store and thief your things. They can literally hack your website, send you an email, and all of a sudden, you're seeing money missing from your account and you can't figure out why. Well, this is why cybersecurity is so key and so important for you to understand. And it doesn't have to be complicated. And I'm really excited to share that the expert that we have today is going to take away all of that complication. The internet can be a scary place, and data is exchanged daily. And with the growing e-commerce market, data security has become a concern for customers and merchants. So on both sides of the fence, guys, everybody wants to protect their digital wallet. Here to tell us how we can be more secure online is Andrew Nooks, Director of Efficiency and Growth at Simtai Consulting Limited. We also will be joined by Dane Nichols, who is coming to us from NCB, and he is going to be answering some of the questions that Andrew may pose, specifically related to security. And at NCB, he's the manager of special investigations and fraud prevention, the fraud prevention unit. So thank you so much, Andrew, for joining us. It's really good to have you again. I had talked to you so many times about this space. So you are definitely one of the persons I trust to listen to and get advice from. I'm sure everybody is eager to hear what you have to say.
Thank you very much, Stacey, for the introduction, and thanks to the NCB team for bringing us on to talk about this important topic. Shout out to the Simtai team who has helped to put this presentation together. Before I jump into things, I like to give my disclaimer, right? And my disclaimer is that, some of the content that you may see here are content that, we gather from various external sources, and we're not trying to say that all of these images and everything that you see is our own works, but it does tell a good story. So, I want to ask you, what do you really know about cybersecurity? What do you really know about e-commerce? What do you know about what goes on behind the scenes? So, for the most part, right, when we look at a website from the consumer perspective, we see a browser. We search for goods and services, we click on a payment link, or we add to our cart, and we check out, and everything seems fine and dandy. Outside of that, there are a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes. And to that end, my focus is on one particular thing that can go on behind the scenes, and sometimes you are the one that invites some of those challenges. So let's look at the e-commerce that we've been talking about all morning, and look at some of the major components of e-commerce. In the middle, we will see your side of the divide, the customer side, where you'll get your shopping cart, you'll be asked to enter information, and then you'll probably get a message to say that your order is processed. Behind that, there's data collection, use, and storage that goes on. And in that sense, It could lead to you having privacy breach if your systems are attacked and compromised. Then you have the payment method. And for some e-commerce platforms, it is pay on delivery. So you may get a situation where you order everything that you have online, but it's only when the goods is delivered to you that you pay. For the most part, payment is done online, and usually through a credit card or some other kind of digital currency. And once you're using a credit card, there are several things that comes into play there. The other part of that is the logistics. Now, there are several things that can go wrong, and that will bring operational risks. And operational risks, for the most part, is situations involving the chance of a negative outcome or disruption of your day-to-day business activities. And several things can lead to operational risk. It could be client disputes that could lead to you losing clients or losing the loyalty of your clients. It could be violation of intellectual property rights, depending on how you put your information out there or your products out there. Data privacy is a major concern. You're collecting personally identifiable information when you are trying to sell your goods and services online. So data privacy becomes important and becomes an operational risk. Credit card scams and skimming and those things, in the physical sense, you go to a card machine, you use your card, there are physical devices there that can steal your card data. But on the internet space, that can happen by logically compromising your websites. And then you have authentication. And I single out authentication because authentication is one of the key security controls that you can have to minimize some of the risks that we may face when doing business online. But among these, cybersecurity threats is arguably the most significant. Why? Because since the pandemic, March 2020, a lot of businesses, as Christopher mentioned this morning, has to pivot to the internet or stand the risk of dying. And that pivoting means that you go on to, you're trying to move your business online. And it has created a lot of opportunities for new businesses. New businesses has emerged as a result of this global pandemic. Now, there are security threats that can occur from that, and there are a host of security threats. And I'll be focusing on some of those that will be most apparent when you're doing e-commerce, right? And whilst preparing for this presentation, I did a live check on what the cybersecurity threat map looked like for a particular day. And can you imagine? If you were to guess, I'm sure you would not guess that there are about 45 million attacks in a single day. And those attacks, as the map may show, is occurring across nation. Because on the internet, you're just known as a number or a name, a domain name. And from that perspective, as the map shows, the world is flat. So some of the top cybersecurity threats that we have been facing now is ransomware. And ransomware is a type of, belong to the family of malware, or for short, or malicious software, right? Then you have denial of service and distributed denial of service. The denial of service is simply, if you want to purchase something from a site, for argument's sake, and the site is not available, then the service is not available. It's a denial of service, and several things can lead to that. You have social engineering, which is a class of attacks that targets the human and human behaviors for the purpose of gain or for deception. And that deception usually leads to gain for the attacker. I mentioned card skimming before. Now everybody's talking about cloud, and cloud can be mysterious. But if you really think about it, cloud is really a remote set of systems and servers, usually housed in a facility and sometimes replicated across several facilities that provide ease of use or ease of setup for your businesses. So back in the day, when you're talking about rolling out for cloud, you'd be talking about buying servers, configuring those servers, putting in an operating system, ensuring that it works well with your application. Cloud has minimized some of those challenges. So when I started out in IT, to just provision a system, it would take about 6 months, anywhere from 6 months to a year. Now it can take up to 30 minutes. And as you have heard in previous presentations, even to go e-commerce can take a very short time. Then you have third-party software that you have to be mindful of. So this is a depiction of what you may see if you're the victim of a ransomware attack. Usually, the ransomware would be a payload that is the second part of an attack that has already occurred. So usually, some type of social engineering attack has taken place, and you are being asked to click on a link and enter some information, and that can lead to a compromise. Or ransomware can be spread by vulnerabilities in your sites. And there are robotic networks that are out there, botnets that some persons would call it, that will scour the internet just to find vulnerable sites and to compromise those vulnerable sites. Denial of service attacks, we spoke about that. If the service is not available when the consumer needs it, then you have a denial of service. And this can be done by targeting your website with traffic from all over the world. And these can be because of compromised systems. Compromised systems called zombie systems can be used to target a specific URL or a specific domain or IP address and render that IP address inaccessible or domain inaccessible. From the perspective of social engineering, one common form of social engineering is phishing. And this is where an attacker would send an email to the victim. The victim may ask the victim to perform a particular action, and that usually is click on this link. Then it will take you to the attacker's site. The attacker will gather the information that you have entered. The attacker now has the choice of sending you onto a legitimate site so it is seamless to you, and then use your credentials at a later date, or even to sell the credentials to other threat actors. But what does this mean for you? Well, for you, it could mean a reduction in your revenue or loss of your business totally, a disruption of your operation. You could lose your customers because the internet and transactions like this has to be built on trust. And if you can't be trusted, and if your systems can't be trusted, then you may also lose reputation, and there could be legal consequences, especially from the perspective of the Data Protection Act. If person's personal identifiable information is breached, then you can suffer penalties as a result. But what can you do? Well, from the perspective of cardholder data, there is the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standards. And what that tells you to do is to reduce the storage of cardholder data. The name, the account number, and all of that is asking you to reduce the storage of that information that can be used to compromise a user's card. It says reduce where card data can be found, which means that whatever systems that you have, whether they be connected systems or otherwise, ensure that your card data the storage of that is limited. Use strong password, and I will stretch that further to say use multi-factor authentication. Authentication is usually have 4 factors: something you know, something you have, something you are, or somewhere you are. And we're saying that use multiple of those when you're doing. Passwords by themselves are not, does not give you guarantees. Nothing really in the cyberspace gives you guarantees, but the more difficult you can make it for an attacker, the better it is for you. Patch and update your software. Use strong encryption. Secure remote access. A lot of companies went online in March of 2020, and they just went online in a hurry. And we have seen many of remote connections that just weren't secure. configure devices properly. You're at home. For most persons who are at home, you're at home and you're using devices that have the basic configuration that you got from your internet service provider. We're saying that you may need to go a step further and configure those devices. And think before you click on links. Other things to consider is make sure that your company is payment card industry certified, especially if you're using payment platforms. And what happens in some cases is that the partners that you're using, you heard from Figaro this morning, you've heard from First Atlantic, those partners may have certified platforms. But sometimes it's the integration of those certified platforms into your own system that exposes you. So you also have to ensure that you pay attention to the integration. Make sure your payment processor is PCI certified. Protect stored data again. Encrypt data across public networks. And that little padlock that you see in the top left-hand corner of your browser screen usually gives some indication that your transaction is encrypted. So when you're setting up your site and you're collecting data and you're collecting transactions and you're collecting payments, you have to ensure that you encrypt that data. Restrict access to the data on a need-to-know basis. And then you select partners. Partners handling your data must protect your data. Ensure that your service providers understand their responsibilities. It's important to do that, right? Ensure that they are prepared to support you in the event of an issue. Cyber insurance is becoming more and more popular. And now we're asking you to ensure that the partners that you work with have cyber insurance, all right? It's important because if you're going to use the phone a friend to say, I am putting up a website, can you help me? Then you're not sure that you're getting the expertise, right? You're not sure that you're getting the expertise that you need. There are a couple of things that we can approach, a couple of ways that we can approach cybersecurity and addressing some of the issues mentioned. We can pretend that cyber threats aren't real. They don't exist. It's fake. And we can stick our head in the sand and decide that we're going to do nothing and hope for the best. Well, you can also decide that you know enough. You can read a couple of chapters, a couple of sites, or watch a couple of videos on the internet and decide that you're going to address the issue yourself. As I said before, you can also phone a friend. A lot of persons have gone into the software development business as a result of COVID, provided a great opportunity. But a lot of developers are not aware of some of the cyber risks. So we say, if you're going to phone a friend, ensure that at least that friend know the techniques that's involved in developing software in a secure manner. They know the techniques involved in doing secure software coding. The best option that I would see is to hire the experts. Choose a trusted partner. And I know your friend is trusted, and that's fine, right? Your friend is trusted, but does your friend have the competence? Choose a trusted partner that has the relevant competence. I'm Andrew Nooks. I'm with Simtai Consulting, and we have at Simtai taken the time out to ensure that we have the competence and that we can assist. This is about Simtai. Simtai Consulting was founded in 1998 by Andrew Simpson. It's the leading cybersecurity and IT advisor consulting firm in the Caribbean. And we do IT transformation, governance, data privacy, and data protection. We have competent and qualified and experienced consultants. And that's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Andrew. Another informative presentation. Thank you for all that insight. Lots of key takeaways. One of the things that I wanted to also underscore was the part where you talked about, phone a friend.
Yes.
Phone a friend is very popular in tech. Can I just tell you, everybody have them friend who can build a website. Yeah, man, so-and-so can build a website. I'm thinking him know about security and so and so and so. And we're really good at that here in Jamaica, is the phone a friend, because we think that, hey, it may cost us less. but in the long run, it may cost you more, right?
It definitely does, and we have seen where persons like, when they try to consult with experts and the experts say it may cost you X, they say, no, I have a friend that can do it for much less than that. And they go back, they pay that friend, and then when they have a problem, they end up paying the penalties of that problem, losing their business, and then having to contract the expert after that.
The fact.
So they have paid multiple times for a service that they could have paid once.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Andrew. Now, before we get into our detailed Q&A segment, I do want to remind everyone, as I had mentioned at the beginning, that we want to welcome Mr. Dane Nicholson, who is the Manager of Special Investigations within the Fraud Preventions Unit at NCB. And he's going to be answering the questions related to cybersecurity from an NCB perspective, which is definitely welcome. So, Dane, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Stacey.
Okay, I do have a question that came in from our viewers. It says, NCB requires some merchants to implement a card registration process that customers must go through before a customer can pay for items online. This is supposed to make the online payment process more secure. Why is card registration required for some merchants and not for other merchants? Example, those using the Figaro solution. That's a great question.
Yeah. So, card registration is optional on websites, but some websites, and depending on the type of business that a customer will seek to engage in, it makes it a lot more risky. What card registration does, it actually will tell you that if the customer successfully gets through to register the card, 99.9% of the time, the transaction is a genuine transaction. So I know from time to time, customer will experience a little customer inconvenience because you would have to go on the site, do a test transaction, then make contact with your financial institution to get that number to come back on the website and complete the registration process. But it provides great comfort to the e-commerce merchant to know that once your customers successfully register the card, it is 99.9% foolproof to say that this is a genuine transaction that has taken place on your website. So similarly to how merchants in the brick and mortar space would get a cashier and you'll have a UV light and you'd look on the $5,000 note to ensure that it's a genuine one. That is typically what card registration does in the e-commerce space. It examines the card and ensures that it is the customer, the genuine customer that the financial institution issued the card to is the one conducting the transaction on your e-commerce space.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. All right, now this question is for Andrew at first. Here we go. How does becoming PCI DSS compliant protect me and my business? And I would love for you to remind us of what PCI DSS means, because we've been using a lot of acronyms,
Yes.
and I'd love for our audience to be aware of what these acronyms mean.
Sure. Many moons ago, 5 card brands came together to form a consortium, if you will. When credit card, e-commerce became very popular and credit card usage became popular, they had to come up with some standards that would assist in protecting cardholder and cardholder data. In comes the PCI DSS, which is the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standards. Now, they have about 12 standards of best practices for merchants, card issuers, transaction acquirers that they should go through to ensure that their infrastructure and everything that interacts, from their people, the process, the technology that interacts with cardholder data, that they are maintaining a particular security posture. So it talks about maintaining strong firewall. It talks about ensuring that you have a good segmentation of your network, meaning that you're taking away your cardholder data traffic from the usual traffic. It talks about ensuring that you test your infrastructure on a periodic basis. It talks about monitoring transactions to ensure that you can prove beyond doubt that transactions that are performed by a particular person or a particular consumer is their transactions. It talks about having a vulnerability management program which ensures that you are not just doing this as a one-time and a one-off event. Because the risks are constantly changing, you need to be able to keep up with the times and to implement controls that will also assist in maintaining that. So it's a robust practice program, and whether or not you are handling cardholder data, it is just good best practice standards to adhere to in protecting any of your sensitive information. And there are other standards out there for those who are not interacting with cardholder data that they can subscribe to. You have the NIST cybersecurity framework that persons can look at. You have the ISO International Standards Organization information security management systems that speaks about having a robust information security management system for your entire organization. And that's the ISO 2700 series. So it's easy to say that we're going to, we want to protect information, but if we protect information by understanding the context, understanding your business context, and then understanding what the threats are, and having a program to follow or some standards to follow, it makes it that much easier. It minimizes the gaps that you may have in protecting your system.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And thank you for dispelling, the explaining the acronym again. Thank you. Now, Dana, I do have a follow-up question for you in terms of the response that you gave. What is considered low risk? So one of our viewers is saying, what if I sell clothing or laptops? Can you please advise on, what you would consider low risk versus high risk?
Okay. So low-risk customers, if you're in the food delivery business, for example, you'd be considered low risk. If you're in the clothing market, you'd be considered low risk. But if you're in the jewelry business, you're in the hardware business, if you're in computer business, for example, if you're selling very expensive equipment that fraudsters can quickly purchase and monetize stuff. If cell phone is an high-risk business as well, because fraudsters love to purchase cell phone and go and sell them at a discount. For example, they'll purchase an iPhone 10 Max for $1,000 US, and then they'll go and sell it for $400, $300 US. So businesses like those, we tend to put them in a higher risk category. So we'll encourage those type of businesses to ensure that they follow all the security protocols, the card registration, ensure that the merchant is 3D secure, ensure that I know the card registration comes with its own customer service nuances, so ensure that you have other security measures to bolster your e-commerce website if you are not card registration compliant. So for example, merchants can implement count on their website. That is also another good fraud prevention tool that you can have in your toolkit to ensure that you minimize the risk of fraud. So you will not totally eliminate fraud, but you ensure that you put best practices in place to minimize it. Similarly to how persons in the brick and mortar space, they will hire security guards, they'll get the cashier, they'll get a lot of persons in the physical space to ensure that the cash that they collect is secure. You have to transfer that same MO to the e-commerce space to ensure that you put proper security protocols in place to ensure that they are PCI compliant, because PCI compliant will mean that, one, you are not in breach, so you would not pay those huge penalty for being non-compliant. Two, it enhances the security of the payment data space, because if you are PCI compliant, it means that you are not storing the full 16-digit card number, you're not storing the expiry date, you're not storing the CVV. So if the unfortunate incident might arise where there's a data breach, the information available to the fraudsters would be less. So your site would not be as attractive if you are not PCI compliant to the fraudster. So those are some of the benefits of card registration and being PCI compliant.
Thank you very much for that, Dane. You actually touched on a couple of other questions that had been sent. I do have one more just to wrap up this cybersecurity segment that I want to toss out. We talked about different ways that we can focus on cybersecurity, become more aware about it, things we can implement. How do we mitigate against fraudulent activities online now? Like, what are some of the low-hanging fruit, the easy things that people can do now as they get started?
Yeah. So, and if you're asking that question from the consumer perspective, one of the primary things to do is to be cognizant of the site that you're visiting. If someone sends you an email with a link to a site that, even if it looks exactly like the site that you want to visit, then it's easy to just hover over that link to see what comes up in the space. Even the spelling sometimes can throw you off, because persons will use a character from a different language set that looks just like an A. So a site that is stacy.com can look just like stacy.com, except that the A is a character from another character set. So you have to be mindful of that. When you're using sites and you're putting in your information in any site, you want to ensure that the site has HTTPS and that it has that padlock without any other markings on the padlock that may indicate that, yeah, this is secure, but there may be some challenges. You want to ensure that the site is secure. When you're putting in information into the site, or you're registering for a site, and it asks you for username and password, I mentioned before that passwords may not be enough. So you want to set up like a two-factor authentication that it is going to ask you, send you possibly a text message to your phone, or call you to say that, you know, and give you a code to enter, a one-time code to enter. And that will minimize the risk of someone who have captured your username and password accessing your system, because then they would have to also capture your phone and to know the code that is being sent to you as that one-time code. So those are some of the things that you can do. Just be very alert and vigilant. If you are not expecting an email from a particular person, then don't open it. Don't let the curiosity kill you, or make a phone call. We have seen instances where persons transfer millions of dollars to a would-be to an attacker, because that attacker lives on their system, because they've compromised the system, watched their habits, and when they're about to make a payment or they are expected to send off a wire transfer, at the last minute they will send an email to say, hey, our wire transfer details have changed, and it looks just like it's coming from your vendor, or from your merchant or your vendor, and you put in you send your payment to the new wire transfer details, and you know, your money is gone. So you have to be vigilant, and curiosity is good, but you know what we say in Jamaica, curiosity kills. Right?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew, and thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Dane, for reassuring us that the internet, although scary, we are secure with NCB's e-commerce platform, and the different partners that NCB chooses to work with are there to ensure that you have additional security. Now, driving sales through digital marketing is one of the key areas for any person who is going to bring their business online. It could be you as an individual or you as a large company, a large corporate entity. You will need digital marketing to get traffic flowing to your website, to your page, whichever way it is that you're representing yourself online. And so digital marketing is really critical. Around 43% of e-commerce traffic comes from a random Google search. That's almost 50%. So when you're there typing into Google, 50% of persons are doing that and then actually buying something at the end of that search. So how else do you grow your customer base to drive home sales? The answer to that is marketing. You will need to build and maintain strategies that grow your customer base to effectively build sales. Meaning, you can't just say build and they will come. You have to actually do the work in between the building and welcoming the people to actually sell products to them. Who better to explore this than Mr. Javed Nixon, founder, president, and CEO of Point Global Marketing, who is here to teach you how to increase sales by utilizing digital marketing strategies. Javed, thank you for being here. welcome. Looking forward to chatting with you again. Long time no see.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Good to see you.
Great.
I want to first start by congratulating NCB for putting this together. I've sat and listened to a lot of the presentation, and there's a lot of just spot on knowledge about what companies need to be doing. Point Global works with emerging businesses all over the world, specifically on digital marketing and building brands that are resilient. And a lot of the elements that will be explored in my presentation will look at how these brands that we work with, as well as some of the other global brands that people might be aware of, are driving sales to their business. Now, when it comes on to digital marketing, it's one of the elements that people look to when you talk about digital transformation. And with digital marketing, like almost every corner of digital transformation, there are some elements that are important. A lot of customers, when we talk to them, or persons have the impression that digital marketing is easy. But like a lot of the experts that you have heard today, it really has critical elements that you must be aware of. And at Point Global, we have found that in our work, there are three really key elements around digital transformation and around also digital marketing. And that is 1, people, 2, process, and 3, technology. And it's really the alignment of those that ensure success. Now, what is the alignment of those supposed to lead to? What it's supposed to lead to is the right skills. So ensuring that the people who are in your organization, whether those people are employed directly by your organization or fall in the cadre of consultants that you work with, that they are the right skills needed to help your business and to ensure that you can drive results. Now, when the people, the technology, and the process align, there are some things that are really important for digital. And this is regardless of where you are in the digital process. 1 is design, and that is the design of your website, design of your social media properties, the design of your mobile app. 2, it is being agile in that the development of those systems, ensuring that you're keeping on top of the technology. 3, it's the use of data. 4, it's around automation and digital marketing and ensuring that you automate certain processes. We just heard about cybersecurity and, of course, the use of cloud computing and AI and how those can be used to drive specific results. Now, when those things have been done, or when you have kind of given consideration to that, what do you need to do? We have found that the best way to kind of design digital campaigns is really to look at your business as an entirety. And we love using the business model canvas as a simple way of doing that. Now, what that does, it brings all of the functional areas to your business in a very succinct way. And why we use it as digital marketers, and specifically from a consulting background that like we are at Point Global, is because it gives us a way to quickly drill down on some of the important areas of your business with a view to designing strategies that are driving results and adding value. So one of a quick tool that we use, especially for emerging businesses when they are just launching digital campaign, is for them to use a simple tactic like their elevator pitch to design and come up with a really strong messaging that conveys to their target audience very quickly and that can be used to design campaigns very quickly. So in order to do this, your business model canvas becomes important. But once you have looked at this area, you can identify things like your target audience, your customer needs, look at your product benefits, what your competitors are doing, and ensure that you're driving great targeted ads through the use of this. So what I'm going to do is explore how can you use your elevator pitch, which as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, we always hear about, to develop quick strategies to drive sales to your business. Now, if you have an elevator pitch, which if you're in business, you should have, what you can do in designing that elevator pitch is identify ways and mechanisms to also design ad campaigns, whether and use these campaigns, whether they are SEO campaigns, not only paid or search ads, but also organic campaigns and use of keywords to drive sales. So an easy way to do this is using this template that you're now seeing on screen, where you have identified your customers, what is your customer needs, identifying your product, fitting it into the market category, and identifying a key benefit and distinguishing that key benefit vis-a-vis your competitors. So what this does is give you a very succinct way in kind of designing and touching on all of the areas that your ads should be touching on and to drive direct sales to your business. Now, in doing this, what we're really trying to do is develop what we call an empathy map for the customers as well. So what we're asking ourselves when we are designing these digital campaigns and using these tools is, what are customers thinking? What are they saying? How are they feeling? And what are they doing online? It's really identification of the needs of these customers, using the tools that are available from, say, your business model canvas, as well as the tools that are available from your elevator pitch, as well as data and insight to kind of drive how you develop campaigns. And this is important because wherever a customer is in a buying process, the customer is really thinking about what they want to do. So Stacey identified search as one of the elements that people use to identify what they are trying to get online. Now, what marketers call that process is a buying journey or a decision journey. Now, when you understand what your customers are thinking, what they're saying, what they're doing, what they're feeling, what you can do is identify where they are in the buying process and then use both SEO, which is search engine optimization, as well as SEM processes to basically insert yourself into the conversation and help them to further identify your customers. And I'll go into some of these strategies as I go into the presentation. So what you're trying to do when you're doing digital marketing and when you're using these techniques is really insert yourself into the buying process at whichever point a customer is identifying is in the buying process. So a customer could be thinking, okay, you know what, I need a dress. And that customer could be going online and typing in dresses. Now, what you want to do using both search engine optimization as well as search engine marketing techniques is inserting yourselves into that process where the customer is thinking about or considering buying a dress. And at each stage of this process, you can use digital ads or use also other organic techniques to basically insert yourself into the buying process and make yourself a part of the consideration or the evaluation or the buying that is taking place online. Now, how do you do that? You do that by looking at different media elements that you can use to insert yourself in the process. And these media elements are broken down into owned, earned, or paid media. Now, your owned media would be things like your website, your blog, basically properties that you control, your apps. And then you want to look at those and say, okay, how can I develop whether SEO, search engine optimization, or SEM services to benefit from customers that are coming directly to these properties. Then you want to look at earned. Earned is like press. Now you have a lot of blogs online that are third-party blogs or news feeds that are third-party, and they will mention things that your company might be doing. So those are press coverage, it's word of mouth, it's your retweets on Twitter, it's your shares, it's when somebody shares those elements. You say, how can I ensure that I earn media without paying for them, and how do I push and influence that? And then you have strategies which are paid. which are like pay-per-click ads or search or display advertising. So you want to basically look at all of these elements of the media mix and say, where and how can I insert my business into these properties and ensure that that traffic is driven to whatever I'm using to sell, whether it's my own website that I've created or a website that is an e-commerce marketplace that I'm using. Now, how do you do this? Now, as a consulting firm, what we do, we break it down into the buyer decision journey overlapped by different media elements. So when a customer is in, for example, the consideration stage, for example, you heard me talk about somebody who is going to be buying a dress. We'll be saying, okay, if somebody's thinking about buying a dress, what are they doing at that point? What would they be doing if they are on digital? So we're saying, okay, if we have all of these things in the media mix, how can we use these things to drive them to our property? Okay, so we can use paid ads where somebody goes and they type into Google, I need a dress, and we can serve them a paid ad. But we can also use search engine optimization and use of keywords on our own website to drive the page rankings. We can also use earned media by posting engaging content that somebody then will be resharing. So what a firm is doing when they're doing this is really finding out and trying to map where a customer would be searching for them on each stage of the buying journey on a digital platform. And I know I'm going through this very fast, but I hope you're following me here. It is really to look at the buying cycle of a customer and then mapping out which and what platforms or where they will be searching or engaging with content with you. Now, I want to explain a little bit distinction between SEO and SEM. Now, SEO is organic. It's usually on your website, and it's usually designed to give you long-term results. So it's not an immediate process. It's about building out your own organic ecosystems that will drive traffic and page and rank your website or the properties higher when people do search or when they are using any kind of social media, because social media also has elements of this. So you do this by the use of keywords. When you're writing the description on your site, you do this by ensuring that your site has the content and actually has the information that people might need when they are looking to evaluate the purchasing decision on your site. Now, SEM are usually paid advertising techniques. These techniques are either search or display advertising, and I'll go through elements of those and the differences between them. And they are also the use of third-party paid services to drive traffic to your site. So this is usually a quicker process, and it usually can lead to quicker results. So when somebody uses a Facebook ad, what they're actually doing is doing a display ad service to push persons to their website. When somebody is writing a product description on their site that gives people details about the size and the type of products that they are using SEO services to ensure that the search engines that we use, like Bing, Google, are able to find their products or services quicker. Now, when you're designing these campaigns, whether it's a SEO or SEM campaigns, it's critical to ensure proper targeting. So how does digital marketers target? We target using behavioral indexes. So it could be the sites that people are visiting. How often do they visit? It could be demographic information. Where do they live? Who are their friends? It could be geographic. Are they in Kingston, St. Andrew? It could be technographic. Are they using a laptop versus are they using a tablet? So it's really looking at the behaviors of the persons and finding best ways of reaching them given those behaviors. Now, there's a trick about being able to do this. If you're able to do this very, very well, meaning you're able to identify these areas for digital advertising and customers, you're able to actually reduce the cost of your advertising and be very targeted with the results you get. Now, a big way of doing this is actually using the data that you currently have on your most profitable customers. So it is looking at your customer base to say, okay, who are my most profitable customers and what are the characteristics of these customers that make them so profitable to me? When you are able to identify, and I guess the financial industry will call it knowing your customers, you're able to identify where the customers live, what time of the day they shop, what are they using to shop, the frequency, all of that, to kind of gauge their behavior and then serve them with relevant ads around your product or service. Now, what kind of ads can you serve when you're able to identify these targets? You're able to serve what are called, the common digital ads are called banner ads, pop-up ads, and social ads. Now, banner ads are ads that appear on the top or the side of a website or a blog or a news feed that you're looking at. Now, most of these ads can either be shared in a programmatic way, meaning Google, for example, has a programmatic advertising platform that you can automate and then serve ads to your customers based on using data that you use to set up these ad campaigns and these ad platforms. You also can do pop-up ads, meaning they can go on your website and then a pop-up comes up, or a third-party site like the Gleaner or other sites that companies use or visit frequently. And you can also do social paid ads on any one of the social platforms that are served to persons. Now, you also can do native advertising. Now, native advertising is the integration of ad content, but in a way that is not so obvious. So it is usually in the web content that you have on your own site or a third-party site. This is a nice way of actually driving traffic to your web properties and to your site, because you can do this through blogs where persons don't necessarily are immediately aware that this is an ad serving content, and it's integrated in the overall article or feed that they are looking at. Now, also mobile, because of the amount of persons that are using mobile, mobile is an important way of also driving traffic to your site. And again, you use programmatic ad platforms like Google and other platforms out there to develop these ads. One of the other things that you can do is in email advertising, and email was once taboo, but is fast emerging as one of the areas since the pandemic that has exploded in relevance in order to communicate and provide information to customers. So email is really emerging as a strong way of reaching your customers. And I'll give you a practical way as to how you can use emails. If you have a customer database of customers who are buying from you, it is important that you are able to design relevant information to them. Some of the coupons that Alicia spoke about, some of the discounts, you can send these messages through emails to that database, which will result in them using that on your website. So it's critical email as an element. The other important area of advertising is what is known as rich media. So these are interactive ad banners or GIFs that you can use, and these can be done especially on social platforms that allow people to click, that allow people to be entertained and informed about your service and it's one of the real ways of actually attracting, using color and design and branding to pull people into your service and interact with them wherever they are in decision-making cycle and in their buying decision. You also have what are called interstellar ads. Now, these are ads that take over a website. Usually, these ads are prevalent where there are rich e-commerce. You're operating a rich e-commerce site. You're able to do more invasive advertising where you can do a wrap, or you can have an animated character walking across the screen, and it's really designed for more interactive, engaged ad performance. And a lot of people use it when they are trying to drive signups, for example, like for an ebook or a service, or to book a service. Now, the other element that is fast emerging is the use of video. And now video is the element of content marketing that is seen as one of the most immersive especially around sales in social. And this is precisely what Alicia was talking about when she was talking about going live. It's the use of interactive videos to really drive traffic to where you want it to go. And I want to drill down into how you do all of this by using an example of a project that I worked on for a small company called Lola. Now, Lola is a travel platform that is trying to compete with Expedia. So it's a typical booking site with some differences. Now, the Lola platform was designed and launched by Kayak, which is a very popular platform. But obviously, they are competing with a massive player in the market, which is Expedia. So in trying to figure out how do they stand out, we looked at, and they were a small company that was just launching, we looked again at what would their elevator pitch. This is the one, if they were able to just say one thing to their customers, what would that look like? And what they came up with is for business travelers, with our help, who have a demanding schedule, Lola is a travel concierge platform that promotes hassle-free booking. Unlike Expedia, which is their competitor, the product offers personalized concierge service that takes care of every step of the planning process. So again, it's using that. This is if you are only able to say one thing to your customer, what would you say? And then using that to really design ad services for them. And I'll go into how you do that. Now, in order to do that, you have to figure out who are your customers. And digital marketing companies, small businesses, the best companies out there are using what they call personas or characterization to come up with their customers. So what they do is they design a profile of their customers. Now, this can be a real customer that you have and you know elements of that customer, or it can be a composite from different things that you're aware of. But the idea is to have a complete picture of the client, the customer's personality, their motivation, elements of the brands that they like, and all of that. And it's kind of get a clear picture to find out, where are they shopping. The targeting is what you are trying to do here when you develop customer personas. So you have to drill down on these personas in as complete a way as possible in order to get your ads serving right. So we developed a persona for Benjamin. And we identified the brands that Benjamin liked. We identified his personality traits. These are the areas that digital marketers are using. We identify what motivates him, what drives him, what his goals are. And we use these elements that we put together either through a composite or information that you have on these customers to do this. And this is actually really easy. A lot of us, when we use social media, when we use digital space, we share a lot of information. If you go on your friend's page, you see the type of brands that they follow, you see what they like, if they like to travel, stuff like that. So we have a lot of this information. And then you fit that into the decision or the customer journey. So for example, for Benjamin, we identify what was Benjamin's need. He needs to travel, he needs a hotel, he needs fares, and when he's considering, we ask ourselves, where is he getting the answers for when he's at the consideration stage for these services? And we identify that he's using search, he's using Facebook, he's using Instagram and Twitter. So what that does is to say, okay, if we're going to serve ads to him, these are the platforms that we should be using to serve ads to him. And you can go through the entire customer journey and kind of fill in at each stage of the customer journey where the customer is and what they are doing, so that you can answer the question. So it is to identify the customer journey, where they are at the customer journey, and the needs that they are trying to answer, the questions that they're trying to answer at that stage of the customer journey, and then saying where are they going to find those answers, and then using reps, using the ads to do that. So I quickly show you how you do that through the media mix. So if you're at the customer journey and you're using the media mix, you're saying, okay, for paid advertising, what am I going to use? For owned media, what am I going to use? And for earned media, what am I going to use? And then you're defining these in a very quick way. And then you're using KPIs. So you have to identify the targets that you want from this and drive those targets and come up with those targets through benchmarking. So you're going to look at persons in your industry to say, what are they doing? What are the results they are getting? And then use that to determine your own targets as you develop these campaigns or digital ads. And finally, as I close, you want to also look at what is your content strategy. So whether you're on social or your own website, there are different areas of content that you need to pay attention to. We try to break that down into 3 areas: hero content, hub content, and hygiene content. Hero content is the big content pieces that you're going to work on to drive traffic. Hygiene content is just your everyday content, the frequently asked questions on your website, little how-to videos that you're going to be doing, your email marketing campaign. And your hub content are things like blogs, articles that you can use to back channel traffic into your own services. Now, the key here in how you develop a strong ad to drive customers to your properties is you really have to A/B test. So each time you have to kind of develop 2 different ads and see what is working best, and then modify it as you go along. And you, again, the A/B testing is really how you see which ad is performing best and see which modification. So usually you run the ads together and see how customers respond to each ad. And finally, one of the trends that you can use to drive traffic, particularly on your own website, is chatbots. And these can be used to answer questions for customers quickly and also direct them to your sales pipeline as they are in the evaluation stage of the customer journey. So that's a kind of a quick way of identifying how you use digital and some of the tools that you would need to use digital, using digital to drive persons to your platforms, whether that is a website, an app, or any other service. And that's what small or big businesses are using to really drive ads, drive traffic, sorry.
Wonderful. Okay, awesome. Thank you Thank you so much, Javette, for that presentation. I'm sure our viewers have learned so much on how digital marketing can be an effective tool. I actually picked up quite a few tips as well. It's always a learning space when it comes to technology, exponential learning. You have to keep on, finding new ways to do things, and digital marketing is a continuously evolving space. So I encourage you guys to go back to the YouTube channel and watch this once it has been posted by NCB, and also to look forward to any other information that is going to be posted online concerning building your business on the e-commerce space. So to close us out, guys, I just wanted to share that during the climax of the COVID-19 pandemic, many entrepreneurs and small businesses were having second thoughts about investing in digital or online business. And the reason why most of them were feeling concerned is because they feared it would become obsolete when the effects of the pandemic subsided. And you had so many different messages that were coming out saying, move online, move online. And so many persons actually did so very quickly without having the background knowledge and a lot of the insights that were provided here today. We are instead tasked with educating and providing them and you with tools and solutions that allow you to perform efficiently while meeting and exceeding your goals in the new digital age. E-commerce is not only going to be a thought or possibility for the future, but it is our current reality. They talk about the future is now. It is true, guys. The future is now. And one we must be prepared to not only exist in, but to also excel at. This brings us to the end of our time together and brings us to the end of a one-of-a-kind, informative, and really impactful e-commerce summit. I want to thank our speakers for their insightful and engaging presentations, our technical teams from M1 and Main Events, you, our viewers, for taking the time to be here with us. We hope that the presentations today will help you on your digital journey and propel your business to new heights of greatness. And don't forget to sign up today by sending an email to businesssolutions@jncb.com or to jncb.com/e-commerce. From your family at NCB, please continue to remain safe and do have yourself an amazing afternoon. Take care and see you next time.